Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into another interview for Growing Up Military. This is going to be the last one for the month. April is Military Children Awareness Month, so I am interviewing some military brats, and they're sharing their stories about growing up military. My name is Alicia. If this is your first time tuning in, this is the lounge. As you see, we travel, we live wherever we are at, and I'm so excited to introduce some military brats, and they're going to share where they're from and how they feel about the term military brat. So, whoever wants to go first, they can share.
Sure, I'll go first. So I am Melanie Miranda. I was born in Minot, North Dakota,
Oh,
and yeah, girl, I was listen 18 months strong. That's all. That's as long as I was there. And then military brat. I am indifferent. It's a term that we've been listening to our entire lives. And then I was an active duty person myself, and then I was also a spouse. So I
oh,
have children who are also military brats. So for me, it's like it's just another term that they have out there.
mhm. Just label. Okay, you got it three ways though. You're a triple brat. Triple brat.
Yeah, I'm in there.
Okay, yes. I'm so when you get the spousal preference and you get the discount shot. I love it. Love that for you. That's so funny. I've never heard of that base before, or much less North Dakota. So that's so cool. I love that. Who wants to go next?
Well, I'll go.
I'll go
My name
next.
is.
Oh,
Oh,
go
go ahead,
ahead.
Brittany.
Go ahead, Dr. Wingate. You got it.
No, no, ladies first. Ladies first. Go
I
ahead.
knew he was gonna say ladies first. Ah,
Okay.
Yeah,
you
ladies
so
first. Go
pretty.
ahead.
Well, I'm Brittany Graham. I live in the Central Texas area. I'm actually about 10 minutes away from Fort Hood, the largest military base. And I was born, raised in Fort Bliss, El Paso, Texas. And so
Mhm.
the term military brat to me, I never liked that term because I always thought of the word brat like
Mhm.
spoiled, but I think now it's just like the experience of just the product of military parents
Mhm.
and in the experience that goes with that. So that's what I think military brat means to me.
Okay, I love that. Oh my gosh, I've been to El Paso, Texas.
Yep. Mountains are beautiful. I need to see it again. It's been a
Yes.
long time.
That's so cool. Yes. Who wants to go next?
I'll
Well,
go.
oh,
Okay.
I'll go. I am Dwayne Nunnally. I was born in Davenport, Iowa. The military base was the Rock Island Arsenal, the Quad Cities. Military term bred doesn't. I don't. I've heard it, but not like as far as people, making fun or anything like that. So, yeah,
It doesn't really bother you.
no.
The term? Okay. Love it. Okay, Dr. Wingate. What's up?
so my name is Dr. Austin Bernard Wingate. I actually was born in Lawton, Oklahoma,
Okay.
which the closest military base to that is Fort Sill, Oklahoma. So I always tell people, it's like, you'll never guess where I'm from. And they're like, where? And I'm like, well, guess. They always pick like Atlanta, New York, some place like that. And I'm like, nope, Oklahoma. They're like, where's that? And it's like, that place right above Texas? That's me. And as far as the term military brat, it, I'm like Melanie, it really doesn't bother me.
Mhm.
When you understand, yes, I consider it a badge of honor. It's like, yes, I was given a name that very few individuals on this country can have. So I wear it with pride. So, yes.
Oh, I love that. Okay, changing the narrative. Period. Badge of honor. I love that actually.
That's right.
I'm more of Brittany. I'm like, I don't really like it because when you hear me you're young, you're like brat, brat, spoiled brat. I'm like, I don't really think I'm spoiled, so I didn't really like the word too much. But now I feel like I'm embracing it a little bit more. So that's really cool. So the first question that I have for y'all, thank y'all so much, is do you all have childhood friends?
Oh, girl. Okay, so this is actually something that I talk about quite often with like friends that I have now. Um, I don't I don't have any like lifelong childhood friends. And so I have friends who have, those people that I've been knowing them since I was 3, or we've been friends since second grade. I'm like,
Mhm.
who?
Yeah.
Who've been friends since when? Because no, that's not a real thing. Now I will say that I've been fortunate to maintain connections with a few friends that I made like in 8th grade. Now let me dig deeper if you don't mind, because I moved in the 8th grade, like in
Mm.
April, to
Oh.
California. Right. And so the friends that I made in those last 2 months in April, those are like I'm in connection with some of those. But anybody prior to that, who are those people? I don't know. I who?
Never seen them. Don't even know.
Now I remember a lot of people, but I don't know
Mm.
those people anymore. Mm-mm.
I'm cracking up.
Yeah.
That is so funny. I'm like, Yoki, the military really, they don't care. They be like, you got kids? Oh, well, let's move in the middle of the school year. What?
Right.
Hmm.
They do not care. It's so rude, low key. But if you're on base, I feel like it's kind of normal. So people are used to like people leaving and moving and stuff like that. So that's kind of different. But if you're in them city schools, shout, you like, okay, hi. Like, so it's interesting. But yeah, anybody else?
I think it was the same thing for me. I didn't really start develop childhood friends until probably third grade when we officially moved back from Fort Bliss to Fort Hood, and we stayed. And so my mom was heavily in the church, and so we established a church home, and those were my childhood friends. I spent my time um, Wednesday night service. It turned into Thursday night service. It turned into a watchtower, early morning service and choir
Mm-hmm.
rehearsals on Fridays. And so that's how I was able to develop my childhood friends. And that's how I know Dr. Jeffries. And so we've been friends
Oh,
since 10 years old.
mhm. Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. In the church. Yeah,
Yes,
good
ma'am.
morning, Kiwan. Yes, support the channel, y'all. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining us. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, so Brittany, mine is kind of like the same, like through church, as far as like when we lived in Watertown, New York. There was really nothing out there in Fort Drum, so it was like, church, church, church. Would hang out with a couple of families and their children on Sundays, things of that nature. And as far as like friends, not really to per se. I've even in school, high school, middle school. I only finished a completion of high school, but I was always like a little loner person, not really like popular or anything. I mean, I talked to a few people, but nothing like that. And then now, like I keep contact with like one person from, like, I guess you can say, high school.
Mhm,
But today in time where we have social media, it's easy to maybe see what that person from high school or middle school is doing.
mhm.
So I think because I don't know how old y'all are, but I think social media wasn't really heavy on me, but now it very much is. So like 16, I got my first phone, but so it really wasn't like um, social media and things of that nature. But with social media now, I think it helps you connect with people more now.
Mhm.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, definitely agree. That's what I was going to say. When I was younger, I actually moved my 8th grade year too, and I don't know none of them people from before 8th grade to mid. I remember some of them. I have some of them on Facebook, but like, so that's when Facebook kind of really started. I had MySpace, so it was a different experience for me. But MySpace is gone now. But I remember like adding them on Facebook and stuff. But elementary, I don't know. Like I had a phone, but I was just like, if y'all didn't have social media, like how were you supposed to remember those people's names or remember those people's contacts? So I feel like a little bit more fortunate because I was growing up with social media. So I was able to keep some of those connections. And I talked to like one person from middle school. I don't and I barely talk to anybody from high school, like if it's on social media. But when they see me, they be like, "Oh, hey, girl, I see you on Facebook." I'm like, "Okay, what's up?" But like, I don't talk to them outside of that. So I think that is kind of very interesting as well. So I do believe social media kind of helped with that. Dr. Wingate?
So interesting enough, and I think all of our stories kind of align a little bit. So we were in South Carolina when
Mm.
we moved. I was in the 8th grade, graduated
Okay.
middle school, and then moved to Fort Knox, Kentucky. And if it was not for social media, I wouldn't remember anybody from South Carolina because I was told, all right, well, I'm graduating and I'm see y'all later. I'm moving. And they're like, me moving? Like, where are you going? Like, you moving down the street? No, I'm moving to another state. And they're like, I don't understand why. So that concept is different for them to understand. But even high school, if you're not on Facebook or social media, it's very hard to remember you now. And then, like you said, they pop up like, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like, where do I remember you from? Like, where are you from? What year? Where?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now I remember. So it's lifelong friends. No, I don't think I made those till college. I'm gonna be honest. I
Mhm.
don't think I made those till college. And it's like if you were before then and you start communication with me, congratulations. If not, I'm on Facebook. Find me. I'm here.
Right. It's like now, I got like,
Right.
what state was I in? What school was I going to? Like, how do I do
Exactly.
this? I think that. So, did you go to school in South Carolina? You went off base.
Right. So South, it was interesting. So South Carolina, which I love because I got that off base and off base kind of environment. So in South Carolina, there's Fort Jackson. We didn't
Mhm.
I didn't go to a school on Fort Jackson. I went to a public school in South
Mhm.
Carolina, which
Mhm.
was completely different than when I went to high school on Fort Knox in
Yes.
Kentucky. Completely different. I was just like, well, this is a complete culture shock. Let it ride. Let's go for it. So it was different, but it was all enjoyable, all the same.
Oh yeah, that is so funny, interesting because I went to like my first high school. Well, no, I'm saying my first school on base was Fort Knox too. So like
Hmm.
I went there too. But I think that's interesting too because when I was in school, like elementary and middle school, like I kind of did. I grew up with them. But elementary, you go somewhere, and then you go to middle school. So then it's like all these different people. So it's like you kind of reconnect with them too. But then middle school is like, okay, you have your friends. You go to high school, and it's like I have to start all brand new.
All
Like
over,
I'm
right?
moving to a whole nother state,
Hmm.
and now I have to find all new friends. The only thing I feel like was good with Luck Up is like I was a freshman, so it's like everybody's kind of new in a sense, but also not really because then a lot of people they came from Scott Middle, and I'm like, what's Scott Middle School? And
Exactly.
it's like,
Right.
what's that middle school? I never heard that middle school before. So then they
Exactly.
have friends. So it's like you're just kind of trying to recreate. And then I had to move off post. So then I had to try to recreate more friends. So it's like I didn't really remember all those people from my first school. Facebook was big, but also like some people had Facebook, some people didn't have Facebook. So it's
Hmm.
like then they move. You might meet somebody, they might be gone in like 5 or 6 months. So it's like it's hard to really kind of just like build that bond up. So yeah, I think that is something that is not really talked about a lot, but like people, we don't have childhood friends, and then when you get around your friends in college, they be like, yeah, I know him since 3 years old. Like I was just with somebody last night. Oh yeah, we've known each other since 5. I'm like, I don't know anybody. I know one person that I know since 5, and I barely know him, and I just know him because my mama is friends with his mama. That's the only reason how I know that I know him since I was 5, child. That's all I wouldn't even know, right? And so it's really interesting. It's like, oh yeah, we went to high school, like we did all these things together. We have all these memories. Church was really big, so like you can make friends in like church and stuff like that. I think that was kind of like one of the community pillars. But I also think like, dang, I had to wait till college to find lifelong friends, and then college is a whole different ball game too, as well. Some people you become friends with, you stay with. Sometimes you don't stay with them as well. However that goes, however that experience is. Yeah, thank y'all for sharing that. I think it's really important when we think about friendships and community, how we navigate it and how we look at it depending on like our upbringing. So my next question is, are you all close with your family on either side?
Yeah, for sure. So, my like all of my mother's side of my family, absolutely. And they all pretty much live in the same area in Florida, which is where I claim to be from.
Okay, period.
I'm from Florida. I don't care what y'all say, but yeah. So I'm really close with like my mom's side of the family because that's who we went to go see growing up, like when we go visit, or like my uncle was also in the military, so my aunt and my cousins would come see us as well because we were all just kind of randomly around the country. So I would say like me and my youngest brother for sure are super close. My cousin from my aunt, um, we're extremely close as well. Um, yeah, pretty much the whole family. We pretty tight knit. We locked in because we was all we had, for the
Mhm.
most part.
Were y'all ever stationed in the same spot?
No, because my dad was Air Force, and then my uncle was Navy.
I meant to ask that. Oh my gosh, yes, I meant to ask that. What was the I forget what it is now.
The branch.
Thank you. Yes, I forgot to ask what branch. Oh my gosh. So let's bring that. Let's bring that to it. But yeah, so because everybody when I was growing up, they be like, "Oh, what should I do?" I'd be like, "In the military." They'd be like, "What branch?" I'd be like, "Huh? The military." I never knew there was more than one branch. Child, don't ask me no question. I just be like, "The military." What? I don't know, child. But yes, I think that's important. So the branch. So you said your dad was in the Air Force, and
Right, right,
your uncle was in the Navy.
right. My uncle, and then I had another uncle who was in the Army as well.
Oh, okay. You
Yeah.
see, my girl is triple threat over here. Okay,
I mean, and then my granddaddy, look.
okay, triple threat. I love it. Now. Do y'all know that? Now I'm gonna forget his name, and it's in my head. It starts with Blair Underwood. Do y'all know that he's a military child, and he's writing a book from his mom called like the soldier's wife. And that was so cool.
Wow.
That's
And we
dope.
were born in the same state or whatever. I don't know where he's at now, but yeah, it just made me think about that because we think about military children and like they're like famous, like Shaquille O'Neal's dad was in the military and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. But yes, triple threat. That was a side quest, but whoever wants to answer next can say the branch, and then if you're close with your family.
I'll go next. My father was in the military or in the Army.
See?
And I was close to both sides of the family because my parents met while in high school. So Midland, Texas, shout out to Midland, Texas.
Okay.
That's where they met, and both of my sides of family live in Midland. So
Is that a small
going,
town?
it is a small town. It's where like mainly like oil. So that's where all the money is.
Okay, period. True small town, but rich people.
Yes, yes. And so my grandmother, both my sets of grandparents lived there, cousins, all of that. So definitely close to both sides. But what I lacked in was like not having that cousin experience. So you know how you can grow up with your cousins and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And my parents had that experience, but I never got to experience that.
Oh,
So I would say being part of a military brat was not being able to have that cousin like closeness, you know.
yes, because they all stayed there,
Right.
and you were moving around. Are you the only child?
No, I'm not. I
Oh,
actually
okay.
have 6 siblings.
Okay, Jackson 5. I'm just playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters, but we all are in different places.
Is any of them in the military?
No.
Oh, okay, I just was asking.
Nope,
Okay,
never.
that's really cool. That is so
Yeah.
cool.
Brittany, are you sure you didn't grow up with me? You almost have the same similar story.
Oh, we don't got that many siblings now, child.
No, I'm talking about the sibling part. I'm not talking about the sibling part.
Baby, don't tell me I don't know, child. Let me.
I'm talking about her, the church, and I'm talking about her, the cousin thing. That's
Yeah,
what
well,
Yeah,
you should know
yeah.
that then.
so mine is pretty interesting. So I said I was born in Davenport, Iowa, Quad City. So to put in your mind, about 2.5 hours from Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So my dad is originally from Savannah, and he got stationed in Rock Island. That's how he met my mom. So my mom was from Iowa, and her family moved there from Mississippi and all that stuff. So they met. So I had lived 2 years in Davenport, and then we went to Germany. So I mean, I don't really remember that aspect. But growing up, then we had did I say my dad was in the Army?
Yes. Oh no.
Okay. All right. And so when we lived in Washington State, like my mom's mom came up there, my dad's mom and aunt or sister came up there, visited a couple of times. But it really wasn't until about when we moved back to Davenport in 2001. I believe I was in 7th grade. That's when we kind of really, I really started knowing like my grandma real and her sisters, and then cousin base, at that aspect. So it was about 7th grade where it kind of really knew each other. And then that was about a span of 8 years, I think. And then after that, everybody just dispersed. But then we got an opportunity to, when we moved to Fort Eustis, Virginia, was able to go up and down and visit my dad's family, which was his dad and sisters, because they had lived in Delaware. So some summers or just different things would go up that way. that aspect. But for his mom and stuff, not really, because they lived in Georgia, so it was so far. But now it's like, no, I text around my aunts in Delaware to reach out to sometime in Georgia. So growing up, you kind of build your own relationship, I guess. But I mean, as you get older, but growing up, it was kind of like isolated. That's where you rely on people and friends or church people. But yeah, when I was about seventh grade was really when I kind of made that connect with family.
Okay. Dr. Wingate.
So, Dwayne, it's funny your story relates to Brittany. My story relates a lot to Melanie because it just looking out this is working out. So Army, my father, Army. My uncle is also is retired Army as well, and my cousin on both sides. So I got to break this down. My parents met in South Carolina State College, HBCU.
Okay.
Met
Period.
there.
Okay.
But what's funny is my dad and my uncle were both in ROTC together.
Oh.
So that's how my dad met my mom. So that's always funny how our story connects like that. So then my uncle's son, my first cousin, he served in the Air Force. So this is on my mom's side of the family. On my dad's side of the family, his uncle's son, which is my cousin, long story. My grandparents had 13 kids.
Oh,
so, yeah.
That's a 10.
Yeah. So he is currently serving in the Army now.
Okay.
So the military spans on both sides of our family, and we are still like extremely very close. Because we were able to all relate about the whole, traveling and moving around and taking photos and seeing, who's got the better, whose post is better, who's got the better commissary, who's got the better PX. It's like, how's your 4th of July celebration? What amenities do they have on your place? It's like, what's housing like on your place? It's like,
I love that.
Real, very real.
Yes, but but now growing up, it's interesting because we did find time to meet. We would spend summers together. That was one thing our family was really big on, is like making sure we spent holidays together. So Christmas, summer vacations, we'd spend those at grandma's house. So our grandparents would just be like, just bring the kids here and just leave them here. So we would just spend like whole summers at our grandparents' house. And and to this day, we still can relate and talk about our different experiences, just fun times. And like, well, we were here. Did you ever live here? It's like, no, we never lived there, but we wouldn't want to live there how you talked about it and all this other stuff. And then of course, our parents would have to travel for TDY and stuff. So they would end up going to the same location. So like when my uncle had to do training here at Knox, they would be like, well, we're going to put you in a hotel room and everything. My uncle's like, no, you're not. I'm staying with my sister and my family at their house. I'm staying with them. So we were just like, yeah, Unc's staying here for the week with us. So it was fantastic.
Oh, okay. Triple threat. That is kind of crazy. That is so funny. I love all the different stories. And I think that that's also important too. Like there's so many different stories. There's so many different experiences. And so people have all these different perspectives from like what their story is. So I love that you were able to kind of grow up around your family with, and I think that is intentional. I think like being in the military, it's like people are intentional about family time and different things like that. I would say that growing up at my house, when I got older, like we would like host like Christmases and like we would go to like family things for like Thanksgiving and stuff like that. But I did grow up like around my mom's family a lot more. But then I think as I got older, like I would talk to my grandparents more like on the phone, like they would call, they're talking to my dad and stuff like that. Then I learned then I found out about my aunt, so then I would kind of connect with them. But I think my dad was very intentional because he when we left like Iowa, he would always say like he had an option to go to like 2 different states or something like that, like Jersey or Kentucky. But then he was like, oh, well, I'm moving to Kentucky because it was like in the middle between Georgia and Iowa. And I was like, oh, like that was important to him. I said, I don't know why you chose Kentucky, but it was like so he could be in the middle of like to drive and something like that. I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, you show that's a family member. I was like, I wanted to go to New Jersey. Okay, like that's all. And I know nothing about Kentucky, so that's on that. But I love that. We have a listener question, and they said, did you all feel lonely as a military child?
There was no time. Um, well, I think because I think who said they had like 5, 6 siblings? Somebody has it.
Brittany.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and so like there's no time to feel lonely. But if you're talking about in the aspect of like constantly moving around and not being able to maintain friendships,
Mm,
um, I would say yes and no. Um, Clearly I'm pretty personable. So for me, I've always been this way. I've always I've always been able to like just go out and make friends very easily. And I understand that that's not something that everybody else has or like has had to experience. But I guess there are times where you get to a new place and you're like, dang, again, I gotta start over again. I gotta, rebrand myself again. And initially, until you figure out what that rebrand is supposed to look like, yeah, you are the odd man out or you are the lonely person because you're trying to figure out where you fit in this new space.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Anybody else feel like they were lonely as a military child?
Well, yeah, I agree. I think when I was younger, I think moving from Fort Hood to Fort Bliss and then back from Fort Bliss to Fort Hood, it was a little bit of loneliness there, but I was so young, I couldn't remember. Um, I know I was getting made fun of a lot when I was younger. So, because I wore glasses really young and
Mm-hmm.
I was super tall for my age. So, things like that caused loneliness. But I don't think moving was part of that. I think it was just trying to get used to the new environment. And that didn't take long. I was able to make friends. Like Melanie's, you kind of adapt to it and
Mm-hmm.
just keep it pushing.
Adapting is definitely a word in the military brat a dictionary. I should create one. Just
Yeah.
anybody else that you all feel lonely?
I'll say living on base or military unit versus living off base is two different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Living on base, everybody, I think somebody said earlier, they're going to move or, so you kind of build that community with the kids, you're going to the same school, you're waiting at the bus stop together. So not so lonely, but like if I feel like when we lived in Davenport, moving back, yeah, I'm from there, but I didn't know nothing in my young time, but feeling lonely because now you're not on the base. You got to, try to fit in with kids who be going to school, like I said earlier, since kindergarten, and you kind of feel alone. And that's where I was like, when school was over, I was home. If I was in that sport practice, I was home. Like my brother, he has a different story. He would be hanging out with people doing this, but when the bell rang, I'm at home, So like lonely there, and even kind of as an adult now, kind of, I guess you can say lonely too, because by that point people have done found their self, know who they are. They found their cliques and their niche and who they met, So even now today, like I don't even have that, talk to many friends. I'm either on my couch playing a game on my phone. I'm like, my phone is dry, but like in this space now, lonely too. But I just kind of like, I'm content now, but it is definitely lonely in different spaces when you're a kid, depending on where you live.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Wingate.
I, I, I would feel I think it's an interesting question because so I have a younger brother
Mm-hmm.
and we did to be lonely, no, because we always would find the ways to okay, we're new at this location. Okay, you're gonna make your group of friends. I'm gonna make my group of friends, and somehow or other, your friends became my friends, and my friends became your friends. It gave you a lot of opportunity as a military child to say, you are surrounded by so many different people and experiences and cultures that when you move to a new location, you take those same experiences with you and you make new friends, you make new opportunities, especially if you're moving from one military installation to another. You understand that everybody at one point or another was in the same boat you are, and they understand that. So generally, like when we moved to Fort Knox, when we first moved here, everybody was like, "Oh, you're new here. Okay, well, this is so and so and so and so and so and so, and you live where? Okay, well, you're gonna want to hang out with this person, this person, this person." I'm like, don't tell me who I want to hang out with. Let me figure out who I should hang out with, who I need to hang out with, because y'all trying to make me hang out with all the officers' kids. So shout out to officers' kids, because I'm an officer's kid. But it was just like, let me make my own group of friends how I want to make it. And it was an experience that, some came and went, but you still communicated with them. And then that's when you found out you grow into different things. You join certain organizations. And then it's like, all right, I'm gonna hang out with you during school, and then hang out with you after school, and then we're hanging out with your house at a sleepover this weekend, right? Like, okay, so we're doing that, all right? We're meeting up at the shop at 5 o'clock after practice, right? Okay, got you there. Okay, got you. Or like, you going to the PX? Okay, well, get me this. All right, so it's just it's a whole experience. You just make the most out of it, and then when you convert that over to your non-military friends that you explain that to, and they're like, you're using all this jargon that I don't understand. Like, speak English. What are you talking about? And it's like, okay, let me take my military hat off and put on my civilian hat, and let me explain to you what this is. So it's a constant thing of, bringing the old with the new and then binding it together.
I love that. I feel like the only time that I think that I felt lonely as a military child, I was like, no, I don't think so. But I think actually my junior and my senior year, I felt very lonely because I moved to a city school. And so literally everybody knew each other from from babies. So I'm coming into my junior year and like, I'm like trying to talk to them. I didn't play sports. So at that, I was over. Like I played volleyball, but like I didn't play sports. So I wasn't meeting anybody. I'm the new kid in there, but nobody really people, I don't know if it's like people aren't friendly or they're just kind of like in their own ways. Like I'm a very friendly person, but when I went there, I was like, not that many people were friendly to me. So I was just like, I don't really feel like I have that many friends my junior year. And so it's like going to these classes, and I'm not trying to be funny. Some of these kids is bad shots. I'm like, I don't need to be with the bad kids, baby. Okay. Or like they're drama. They already have cliques and stuff. So it's like, okay, I can't really fit into the cliques because I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know the history. I'm not connected to the history. I'm just coming in as a fresh new person. And so then I felt like I leaned on more like teachers and like the principals. Like I was really cool. Like I would be in the office talking to people and stuff like that. So I don't really feel like I had that many friends then. But then on the flip side, y'all were talking about the commissary and stuff like that. Actually, I was a bagger. So that my first job was at a commissary. I was a bagger. And then I did good and I turned 16 and then I become a cashier. So I was like, whoop, whoop, yes, like I was making that good money. But off post, people don't know what commissary is. They don't know anything. So I was working with this girl. I think she still went to like Fort Knox, I think. So people still in the Fort Knox, but I would go to work after school to the commissary. So I would still see my Fort Knox people kind of who I work with, but then I wouldn't see them in the day because I didn't go to that school. So then it's like, but then I didn't really talk to the people who I went to school with because they don't go to the base. So I feel like that was kind of a weird dynamic, but I would be working a lot. So I actually worked so much my junior year that I was like, I was cool with the baggers. I was cool with people. And like, it's so many people that you met. Like I met people from the Philippines. I met people from Japan. Like, so I would just be talking. I would like connect with them and talk to them and stuff like that, like older women. So I felt like people always like, you're so mature for your age. But I was like, I felt like I was talking to older people and navigating that space, when I was in that time frame because I really didn't have that many friends. A couple of my friends, they were on base, but you got to have a car or something to get on pace to go here. I would go to like the YS sometimes, but it wasn't all the time because I'm off post and I don't have nobody take me on post. So I think that would be my thing about that part. So yeah, did you have something to add, Melanie?
Oh, did you see it? No.
Yeah, I see us.
It was hilarious that you brought up being a bagger at the commissary because that was my first job on base as well. But those ladies hated us. The ladies that worked on the week, they hated us because we would come in as kids and wreck shop. You hear me? On a Saturday and Sunday, by Sunday evening, your girl was pulling a band. What do you mean? Because what? And so like the baggers who were the regular baggers, they were there during the week because we could only work on the weekends as the students. And so the ones who worked during the week, they were limited to how many could come in and work on the weekends during the summer. And so yeah, they hated us. The baggers, they hated
that's when
us.
I started. It was in the summer. That's when I started.
Yeah, they hated us being there. But listen, your girl, I was Nike fresh every summer. Straight to the BX, run the whole fit. Give me the visor, the socks, the shoes, the shorts, the shirt.
I am cracking up. Yeah, that was my first job, the summer of it. And I do think I was like, dang, looking back, I mean, it is kind of like, dang, because that's a full-time job. And you coming in as a student, you just like, I'm just trying to make a couple money, trying to make a couple dollars. Like you're like, I'm just here for the fun, I'm here for the vibes. But they used to be mad at me sometimes. Well, I can see it now because they didn't get paid. So when I became a cashier, like when I'm back, I'm like, I'm trying this money. But when I'm a cashier, baby, I'm getting paid hourly. I could take a customer, I could not, I don't care. I'm still getting paid. But they want to get the money because they have to get paid by the thing. I was like, oh dang, okay, let me get some people for you. But I'm like, that needs to be it because baby, I was working at Kroger before. You gotta I'm not bagging all this. Y'all not about to have me doing two people's jobs. No,
For
thank you.
free?
No, I need to get two different if I'm gonna be bagging and doing that stuff. No, thank you. I said go back to the commissary. People bag, they get the things out and they go. But it was so real with people. Then when you take the bags out, you didn't get no tips. They hated them people. So it was so funny. But I love
my favorite is the old people. They would give you like a quarter. Here you go.
yeah, like what am I doing?
Right.
You are retired, sir. You got more money than this.
Literally.
Especially when they're parking at like those specific parking spots, like retired colonel, retired command sergeant major. Like, sir, you are a retired command sergeant major. I know you got money.
Okay.
Really? Come on.
You get paid every month. Quit being cheap, right? Or they be like,
Exactly.
or they be like, I'll bag it myself. Oh, will you? Okay, bye.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
So that is so funny. But yes, I love the commissary down, got paid good. And there was like, it was like no tax. Everybody was trying to come up in there or whatever. So I was like, oh, that's really, really cool. Being able to like work in that and thinking that like that was my first job because a lot of people, this is no shade to fast food, but people like usually their first job is fast food. They be like, oh, I work at McDonald's or oh, I work at. I said, I've never worked at those places
Ever.
and they didn't even pay that much, baby. Commissary me every lifetime. So yes, and then we got paid more because we ended up getting a raise because they ended up doing like this program where it was like I forgot what it was called, but it was like a story association program. People in college, something like that, people in high school. So then we end up getting more money. I said, yes, baby, come and send me.
Oh yeah. Working on base during the summer was great because they had those summer programs and we were getting paid $10 an hour. Now for me, I'm 45, so I'm a little older than y'all. So this is back in like mid 90s. $10 an hour for a kid. Running.
Yes. I remember in college, I went back and I worked at the DFAC. So it was a private thing, but they were, baby, I was making like 17 something dollars, like 17 or $18. I said, yes, ma'am. And then I went back again and then I worked for the Cadet Command. I said, baby, this is easy. I didn't do nothing. I was just like, it was a summer program. I said, yeah, I'm gonna rack up this money. And then I was watching YouTube. I said, baby, let me get another USAA job real quick. Real quick now. I was like, what? This is crazy. You got the holidays and everything. And I literally did nothing. And it wasn't even my fault, but I don't think they knew what to do with this. Like, they're just like, oh, summer day commands. Like, we were working in this office, but not that many people came into the office. So me and the girl I worked with, we were cool for a little bit. We were just talking and chatting, like be there at 9 o'clock, be gone at 5, and we out there. The other job was a little harder, but it was so much money. It was when the soldiers was eating, so we would come there. One job was hard. It was a cook, baby. I had to start cook. I said, release me from this job. I went to the front and I was the head count. Yes, I can sign. Y'all ain't about to be stressing me out over these soldiers not eating. I'm sorry, y'all not about to be stressing me out about put this in there, do that. And I did it because of the money. I said no. I will not be getting yelled at. I still remember that lady that be yelling, "Girl, don't be yelling at me." Rude. This is your full-time job. It's summertime for me. I'm going to college. Bye, y'all. I mean, I got my degree. Y'all will not be yelling at me about no. Put the pen down. 5 minutes. No, so yeah, that's just a little side quest, but no. So shout out to the military jobs for the children. We love that for them. Does anybody else have any stories of working on base?
So I was on Knox at the water park on Fort Knox. So I worked in, and it's funny because you said people working in the kitchen and fast food. That was me. But we, for MWR, we got paid like great. And because if it was like a storm or the thought of a storm, they would close the water park down, but we would still be there getting paid doing nothing. And so we just had I'm probably gonna get some people in trouble by saying this, but it was years ago. So we all got good jobs now, so they can't do anything to us. We would be in the kitchen just cooking ourselves stuff, making ice cream, cooking ourselves stuff, eating. Just I put on so much weight working there. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I have to leave. But it was so fun because even after when the water park closed down, we would still be out there hang out in the pool or do whatever. And it was just the best life. It was just the best time. And it's just so it was we suffered through a little bit throughout the day, but we were in like inside indoors. It was comfortable, air conditioned, calm, cool, collected. That's kind of how I learned how to cook now. It's kind of learn how to do a lot of things was from that job, and then moving up into positions because like, okay, well you're great, you can do this, we're gonna move you up to this, we're gonna move you up to this, and that's how you make a lot of connections afterwards too. So they realize like, okay, what are your thoughts? We're looking to do. It's like, I'm looking to do this. It's like, oh well, here's this person. Make get that contact that person. Or where do you go to college? You went to Western. Oh great. Well, you must know. Well, if you don't, now you will know. What's your phone number? I'm gonna connect you with that person, and that's how you end up getting jobs on the college level too. So I tell anybody who's on here, if you have a child, if you're on a military base, put them to work, and it's going to benefit them in the future in the long run. And it's just good work ethic too. Just being in military, you're gonna develop and grow that work ethic. But it's an experience that like you'll never have anywhere else.
Yeah, my first job I was in the trenches though, because I did that summer program. It was like summer work. They only paid you $500 a month. But I said, "Whoo, child, what is this?" So I had to work. I worked in a restaurant too, but it was so chill because nobody went there. So I was just getting paid. But from then, I had a job every summer, and yeah, I went from like $500 to my. It was like when I graduated college, and I was like, "Dang, I need to keep this job." But the year before I went to go to my grad program, like I had a job like on post, like back and forth a little bit. Then I went to U of L, so I kind of stayed up here. But I was like, dang, they paying good, and you ain't got to work weekends. You ain't got to really deal with nobody. So I definitely think that those are some of the perks. And sometimes you don't even know, like, oh, there's these jobs. Like, yeah, check them out. Like, and so now, even to this day, like my parents were like, oh, so and so asked about you, or so and so asked about you. I'd be like, who is that child? I be forgetting, child. But they don't really be forgetting me. I'd be like, okay, hey girl, what's up, or something. Like I'll tell them I said hi, just because they're still in that area, and like they're like, oh, what is Leisha doing? I'm like, I'm out here doing whatever, nothing really. But they still do be asking like my parents and like checking in with me or whatever. So I think that's really cool too. So yeah, anybody else have worked on post? Brittany or DK?
Well, I just had. Well, I was older. I was like,
that opportunity.
oh.
What'd you say?
Well, I think it was sorry. Oh, okay. Oh, well, I was 21, so I was a little bit older. But I had got like the work study job through ECTC, and so eventually that was like the Red Cross and all that stuff. Then eventually they did a summer program, so I just kind of like transferred in there. I was at Ireland Hospital, so that was pretty much like just easy cake, 20 hours a week, far as the work study. But then even when I got the summer hire, 40 hours a week, it was just, pretty easy because I was already there. So I was doing like HR little stuff, there, but no stories of what y'all have. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was, had no complaints. It was like what easy as cake, just sit there basically, do a little bit of stuff, but
So. Yeah, I love that. Brittany, sorry, what did you say? I didn't hear you.
Oh no, I loved hearing all of you guys' stories because I didn't have that opportunity. I ended up working for the city when I was 16, and then in high school they had it to where you can work while you're in high school. So I did the co-op program and was part of DECA, and I worked while I was in high school. So
I'm still trying to be part of DODEA. Anybody got a job for me? I'm gonna be the DODEA USA. I'm trying to go to Germany. Somebody help you good out if you're watching this, chat. I'm trying to go overseas because I didn't get to live overseas. I'm kind of salty about that. Okay, but same. I know I'm like I didn't. Did you get to live overseas, Dr. Wingate? Oh yeah. See, so I'm like I still need to live that childhood dream. So anybody know somebody? Come get me. I'll work. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. So let's as we went off on a tangent, but I love that. Like I definitely love that conversation about experiences and everything like that. Knowing that you all moved around different states, do you feel like you had to reinvent yourself with every move that you made, or do you feel like you're just like, oh, I'm who I am, I stay the same?
I think as I got older, I think there was like different identities because I'll say for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, it's because, I'm trying to decide if I'm trying to keep this as PC as possible. So I grew up in very white spaces, right? And as a black child, real dark, and I'm like this big around, high booty, like. Right. So you get to a point where you recognize that you can't be the same person in every space or in all these spaces. So you learn how to become a chameleon. That's a term that I use for myself often. I'm a chameleon because I was taught to be that way growing up. You're taught to adapt, right? You're taught to adjust, to change. And if you don't adapt, if you don't go with the flow of what's already there, you're going to be left out. Nobody wants to feel like they're on the outside. So you adjust, you change, you rebrand yourself. I'm being attacked. You rebrand yourself so that way you're not on the outside. And I think that fast forward to like now, the last 2 years, I've had to really take the time to unpack that, right? And say, I've spent so many years learning how to adjust for others, but who am I really at my core? Like who am I truly? Who have I always been that I've been suppressing because I've been rebranding myself so much? My goodness.
They're trying to get you to rebrand right now.
Right. Right. So yeah, I would definitely say, yeah, like chameleon for sure. I had to adjust every step of the way. But younger me, no, not because you don't care, but as you get older, because my dad didn't retire until I was in high school. I was a junior when he retired. So yeah, as you get older, you realize, like, in order to fit in, I got to switch some things up. Or maybe you learn something about yourself in the previous place. You're like, yeah, no, I don't like that part. I don't like how that turned out for me when I was this way. So I'm gonna just not be that anymore.
Yeah. Another word to the dictionary: chameleon. I'm about to create this dictionary for the military brats.
Do it.
Who else? Did you feel like you had to reinvent yourself, or do you feel like you didn't have to reinvent yourself? Sorry. No.
Oh, okay. I was like,
okay. I'll go next. I wouldn't say I had to reinvent myself again. I didn't move a lot of places, but there was definitely a language barrier because in Fort Bliss is in El Paso, which is close to the border. And so there's a lot of Hispanic speaking people, and you have to learn the language. You have to learn a little bit of Spanish. My mother had to go through that when she was working, and I picked up on some Spanish as well. And so I would say that would be the only thing. I wouldn't call that changing yourself. I would say becoming a chameleon or adapting to your environment. But yeah, that's pretty much it on my part. I didn't have no issues with that. I don't think.
Do you speak Spanish now?
Un poquito, just a little bit.
Period. Me too, poquito.
Look, I have my little Duolingo on my phone. I'm gonna go somewhere.
Okay. Mugiani too. That's all I know.
Yes, I know a little bit, but not as much as I did probably when I was younger.
So you lived in two different duty stations
in Texas, yeah. So Fort Hood, which is in Killeen, and then Fort Bliss, which is in El Paso, Texas.
Oh, I didn't know that was closer to the border, but I don't have the map in my head. But
the Rio Grande area.
Oh, okay. And Fort Hood is like more in the middle.
Central Texas, yeah. We're about an hour away from Austin.
Yes, Austin. Yes, I went out to Austin, and actually, I know a couple of people who are based in Fort Hood, like stationed in Fort Hood. I meant, so yeah, that's cool. Anybody else? Did you feel like you had to reinvent yourself, Dr. Wingate or DK?
I wouldn't say I had to reinvent myself. I'd say I just evolved more. I just learned to adapt to the scenarios that I was in and take the good and build myself up with it. Like Melanie said, I do like the chameleon term because, when you move into a place from like deep South and then you move up to a place like Kentucky, where one part of the state thinks they're one way and another part of the state thinks they're a different way, it's the lingo and the language that you have to learn, and then understanding that, like Melanie's, I'm just amazed how our stories are so much aligned. So being the Black child and my father being an officer, there were no other really Black officers in on our street. My dad was a full bird colonel. None were full bird colonels at the time. So our neighborhood was completely all white, or we had the international officers on our street. So it was interesting that, okay, I have to be a certain way around you all because of the mindset that you have versus my friends whose parents are non-commissioned officers who have a different type of mindset. And it was just that being able to traverse both areas, um, because everybody loved Austin, but Austin had to realize that the way you talk to one group, you can't talk to the other group. The way you handle yourself around this group, you can't handle yourself around this group. But it eventually was a point where it's like it helped me understand and grow. Like, this is who you are. You have that ability. You are this way, but as you get older, you begin to realize like you have great potential and opportunity. So it's about just experiencing that. And of course, then when you go off to college, it's like you meet like a ton of different people. So, like, well, let me put all those experiences I learned in the military as a child to use here, because this is where the matter. This is the Super Bowl of my life. And this is the rubber meets the road. And this is where I got to make it happen. So you can tell people that were like very closed in and didn't really have a lot of experiences in life versus those that were like, I can talk to you. It's okay. No, you're different than me. So what? I grew up with people who were different than me. Where are you from? Okay. Where you people do? Okay, great. I know people in that area. I know people in that state. Okay, yeah. And it's just amazing like that. So I wouldn't say I had to reinvent myself. I'd say I just grew. I'll just say that I just grew.
I think it's really cool too. Within the military perspective, because when I moved to Kentucky, or even when I went to college, like I met people who never moved, who never even been out of Kentucky, who never even been out the country, and
I've
so
never been out of Louisville.
yeah, like that's true. I haven't even been out of Louisville, and so I think that one thing about like the pro is like in middle school, I went to Korea. Like I got to see people living in different cultures. I got to see people just around me. Like I was even like I just said, working at the commissary, you get to see people from Japan, you get to see people from Philip, like you get to see so many different people and so many different identities. I think that when you're in a space and you're just right there, like you're kind of robbed of like getting to know people, just getting to see how people move, like learning
Mhm.
cultures. I studied abroad and stuff like that. I'm really proud of myself because when I studied abroad, I brought my friend. She never been out the country, and I was like, "Girl, come with me, like study abroad with me." And then another friend, like a couple of my friends, they never been out the country and period. And I was like, "Come with me," and it's like, oh, I love that. Like I'm able to kind of like bring you out the country with me, like for your first experience. Like I really hold that like to my heart because it's like you never been out the country before. I think it's cool to like be with somebody who's been out the country and navigate it and just kind of just like ease that sense of pressure, like if they've never been out the country, because they don't know, they're nervous, they're scared. And even when we were growing up, like my aunts and grandmas, like they were like, I want to go. Like they were scared if you went on a flight, like they wouldn't go out the country. Like they were like, oh, I want to travel here. I want to travel here. Like, oh, this. Like if I would have told my grandparents wherever that I was going that I went to Ghana, they were like, oh, what? You get on a flight? You going to Africa? Like it's just like the different mindset that they have. And it's like me, I'm just like, no, I'll go anywhere. I'll do anything. When I go to college, like I talk to people. People say I talk to a stranger. Like yes, I talk to people. I get to know people. And I just think it's like it's just a human experience, and we're all living this life. But if you've been so kind of sheltered where you haven't seen anybody who didn't look like you, or you're not open minded and stuff like that, it's kind of very like a different experience and less eye opening when you see it out in the world. So I just thought I would add that on there.
Well, and to that point, it's also good because, like, if you have non-military friends that have children that like I do, and whose children decide to go in the military,
Mhm.
and they're freaking out, and they're like, "Well, Austin, can you talk to me because you were raised in the military? You know what it's like." And I'm like, "Okay, my experience is a little bit different, but okay." It's like, so what you doing? Where you going? Okay, you doing infantry? Oh my God. Okay, well, this is what you need to look out for. This is what you need to do. Or it's like you try to steer people towards certain directions or certain things, and you try to tell your friends in the military, it's like, look, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be okay.
Mhm.
Just don't ask them a bunch of questions. Let them do their thing, and just pray for them. They'll be
Yes.
fine. They'll be fine.
So funny. Yes. DK, do you have anything? Do you feel like you have to reinvent yourself?
I I don't really feel like I have to reinvent myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a little stuck on this question. Maybe I'm having a slow moment or something. But
Well, I'll just say it. So I usually ask how many times have you had to move? So every time you had to move, did you feel like you had to like, well, you have to start over. So within starting over, do you feel like you had to change yourself? Like, I don't know, like to try to adapt to make friends. Like, do you feel like, okay,
okay,
maybe I'm loud, but my next dude says maybe I'm quiet. Like, did you have to try to do any of that?
okay, I got it. No, because the thing about me, I guess, is like I when we lived in Fort Use or Washington, I was 5, so a
Hmm.
5-year-old. When we moved to Fort Eustis, I was maybe like 10. So like it was just like I was still young. I guess I really wouldn't
Yeah.
understand myself until I guess I was older.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe high school is like I felt like maybe I was like there and I really wouldn't have to invent myself because we didn't live on post anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So when I lived, I was younger. So I didn't feel like I had to like try to fit in because a kid is just gonna make friends play. We went outside and played, So
We
typically,
can pick up now.
but I don't feel like I felt at myself at 15. I didn't feel like moving here I had to invent myself because
Mhm.
by that time I am who I am.
Yeah.
But at that point, growing up and being instilled in Melanice, right? Yeah,
Yes.
okay, I got it right. You said growing up in the like the white spaces or Caucasian spaces, what you want to say. I feel like, and then Alicia, I think you said sheltered, but I'm thinking
Mhm.
sheltered as far as outside. I feel like being in the military space, like we were sheltered from things.
Mhm.
And when I say that, I feel like because I teach and I'm like, I'm just so glad that I didn't grow up like these kids, like, cussing parents out,
Yeah, we are
uh,
show.
going
Yeah.
down the street like these kids are crazy today. So in that sense, I'm glad I was sheltered
Mm-hmm.
in that realm. I'm glad like I grew up with like structure,
Mm-hmm.
pouring like I don't know what else to say about that, but
I switched it. I kind of like went off of shelter because it's really a negative. Like we were sheltered as military kids, but then
no,
also
I got what you were saying, but I was switching my sheltered part.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah, I was saying I was playing off of shelter. So yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah,
played
yeah,
off
yeah.
on the opposite way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what, but parents like pouring into you. Well, I guess when you're in the military, child, you see how life should be, or your parents teach you like you do this, you do that, So that is kind of like embodying you. So as you
Mm-hmm.
get older, you know how to go into different spaces, you know how to talk to different people. Versus like I felt like sheltered. If I was on the other rim, it probably been way worse trying to like fit in and things like that. So I really appreciate like growing up in this way and knowing how to maneuver. And as you say, spaces now, especially time has changed. So like there's a lot of networking events, there's a lot of people that are in different groups. So when you know how to go into that Caucasian space, or if you know how to go into that Filipino Asian space, you know how to talk and um operate yourself already because of how you grew up being around the people that you were around. You were around pretty high people. Yeah, there's kids that were bad on posts or kids, but again, for the most part, it was a structured and foundation. So now as an adult, if I'm going into different space, I know how to carry myself where some people still might have a little hood in them. I'm not saying we don't have none, but how this is that constant.
I'm cracking up. I think so I love the points. And so I think in our perspective that we definitely grew up in like around white area, like we were in white areas. But when I went to school, I definitely knew who was raised in the hood, child. Like you would hear about it. So I feel like living off post and living on post is two completely different things. Like on post is not really a hood, they just bad kids. But off post, it's really a hood, and they really be hooding out there. And I'm like, I'm sheltered from that. I don't know nothing about that. I play sports. I go to church. I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all shooting and killing. I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah,
But I was saying that, and shelter may not be the right word that I'm trying to explain for them. But then on that point, the people who do grow up as not fortunate, they're sheltered, which is, I mean, I don't know if that's a word. They're less privileged. I hate that, but like they're less privileged for the opportunities to see the world. It's kind of what I was trying to say. And it's sad to see that because you do like going around here, you be like, ooh, child, you be like, what? I'm like, they people be talking about stuff are like the last interview, nobody in their house was raised with TVs in their room. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel seen because my dad barely wanted any TVs in their room. I don't know nothing about pop culture. I barely keep up with pop. Like, I don't know nothing about that. But when I talk to my friends, they be like, oh yeah, he had an album out. Oh yeah, you didn't know this had a baby. I don't even know these people's names. I truly don't even know these people's names. So I feel like it's a different sheltering part of what we had to navigate because we were like, if we were on base, We hung around the people who's in the military. Them are our friends. That's what we do. And I didn't watch TV, so I barely know. Last night, actually, I'm gonna tell you, I was at Oaks. The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Cynthia Bailey was there. The Real Summer House. All these people was there. Baby, I ain't know one person. My friends like, you know her, you know, girl. I don't know none of these people, but I'm sending them to my friends, and they know all their names. I'm like, I never seen the girl in my life, child. And so it's like I wouldn't know these things. So I'm like, that part of it, I was sheltered from because I didn't grow up watching. I watch reality TV, but like I didn't grow up with TVs in my house, so I didn't even know nothing about Disney. I barely know any all the movies or whatever. But so I don't know if I used that word wrong, the sheltering, but I was trying to say that they didn't get those opportunities to see that. And I think when we bring it back, it goes to the military, traveling, trying new things, meeting new people, going out different spaces. I could talk to anybody. I could do that. People don't have that upbringing to be in those structured spaces. I'm a little less structured now. I kind of fight. That's why I kind of rebel. I'm a little less structured, but being brought up in the, how I said before, coming on early, like people don't take time seriously. I take time very seriously. And so I think that those are kind of just like the different things when you look at life from a military brat perspective than when you look at life from just like somebody who like just hasn't, I don't want to say hasn't moved around, but like not a military brat. So that's what I have to say about that. I know that was a lot. Anybody have anything?
I was gonna say, side note, we need to get you on some Disney movies. We need to get you on some.
I know some. Well, no, I really don't. But I grew up as a preacher kid, and I grew up in the military. So yeah, I don't know. Like honestly, let me say, well, yeah, I don't want to take my black card, so don't try to take my black card. But yeah, I never seen Pocahontas. I never seen Pocahontas. I haven't seen that movie yet. But I didn't grow up with movies. And so I also think that my parents weren't watching that stuff. And like you're saying, like people be cussing at their kids. I'm like, I would be like, what? Like you cuss at your kid, like you talk crazy. Like these people are, I was like, oh no, I'm so glad. Like, and my parents, they didn't smoke, they didn't drink. And my parents also don't like movies with cussing in it. So I was never like, I didn't really watch Boys in the Hood. Like I know of them, but I never watched them. And
but you're a little younger too.
Yeah.
Too, so.
Oh yeah, I am a little younger too. So let's not age shame, okay?
But
we're not watching ageism, no.
Okay, yeah, don't know ageism, okay?
No, but I can relate. I didn't listen to like R&B music and stuff until probably like 10 or 11, and that's when my parents were, going their separate ways. So this timing.
That's crazy. That's crazy because like for me, I listen to like, an array of music just because growing up, moving around all over the place. But I didn't get into like hip hop until high school. And so when I have all my friends and then, again, 45. So the 90s was when I was really in prime coming of age time. And I get to high school my junior year. That's when I finally went to like full on public, we black school. And people are talking about all these artists, like these hip hop artists and stuff. And I'm like, and it didn't help that I was raised in a Catholic church. So I didn't even get like the Baptist church experience. I don't know none of these songs that y'all singing in these in church. No. I got the Our Father on lock. That's it. That's all I got. Like, so my experience with like cultural things, especially when it comes to like music, movies, the black church experience, like I didn't have any of that. And so I feel behind when I'm talking to my friends about music and stuff because I love me a good song. I love some music, but it's probably white dominated because
I love that, Melanie. I love that so much.
So funny, but even in that, people have different experiences, different cultures. I love that. Oh, but I was definitely heavily raised. Like I'm like, they be like, oh, you don't know this song, child? No, I went to the Millennium Tour. And Boosie had a song, baby. I was shaking in my boots. I said, "What are the words to this song?" No, I never heard this song. He's talking about some pistol. I said, "Whoa. What are we doing?" I know Kirk Franklin, child. I know John P. I know them is the people who I know. Okay, that's who I was listening to. Clark sisters.
Yes.
I don't know nothing about Boosie Child. I mean, I know Lil Wayne and T.I., but that was like when I got older. But yeah, my parents didn't listen to that, so I'm also like, no. Like my mom would sometimes play. My dad be like, turn that trash off. He was not going for it. He was not going for that music. So
Now he sings all the time.
you said what?
Now he does karaoke with all that songs all the time.
And so, but to that point, and so when you're all talking about like growing up in white spaces and stuff like that, not necessarily that I was growing up in white spaces, but like in that sense, I'm sheltered from like a little bit of the black cultural experiences because I'm listening to gospel. Not that people don't, but I'm listening to gospel. I'm watching a lot of Tyler Perry. Like I know people don't like Tyler Perry, but like I grew up on Tyler Perry. Like I'm sorry, I love his plays and his music. Like I could really repeat Madea Goes to Jail to play. Like I could repeat all the lines and the songs. Like I'm a Tyler Perry stan, but that's what I grew up on. You know, so some people don't like Tyler Perry, child, but I was going to plays, going to the movies, and I can still remember going to go see Why Did I Get Married too in the movies. You know, but people they weren't doing that. Or even as simple as I don't like going family like traveling and stuff like that a little bit, but it's just like it's a different experience. So I'm like, dang, I'm trying to catch up on all the stuff. My friends like, you gotta catch up on all the movies. Like my parents weren't into Disney, they were, so I didn't watch some of them Disney Christmas movies. Like I don't have all that experience there. So I just think it's kind of, you know, I think it's kind of different with the upbringings. So yeah. We can wrap this up. If y'all have to go, let me know because I know it's a little over. If you have to go, I understand. But I had a couple more questions, but I'll try to wrap this up so we don't go too long. Um, let me see.
He
I
said,
was gonna.
go on.
You said what?
He said, go on.
Oh, okay, I can't. I want to hold y'all. Okay. So I wanted to ask. Basically, we kind of talked about like how the military brat like shaped our experiences and a little bit of like the personality. But I want to know: do you feel like you're more independent? Do you feel like you're more guarded, because of your upbringing? Like the independent are more guarded.
I like to speak to that. I would say I'm very independent.
Okay.
Although I've been married for 12 years,
Okay.
my personality, my father is very rigid, you know, being in the army for a long time, and that work ethic, I would say, is the most prominent part of my personality. Is real bad. It's like, you
Are you a
know,
workaholic?
I would say I am. I'm a degreeaholic.
You can have that.
I had my daughter pretty young, and you know, no parent wants to hear their child having their child young or anything like that. But I think my father was like, okay, you're gonna do this. Well, you're still gonna do this. You're still gonna go to school. You're gonna make something out of yourself, and you're gonna be the woman I know that you could be. And yes, it was hard conversations to have at that young age, but I appreciate my father's work ethic. And from, you know, him being in the army, I'm pretty sure I would have never had that if he wasn't in the military, or, you know, and so I'm a product of that. I think one main thing about me is just my work ethic is crazy.
So you're still independent to this day.
Very much so.
Okay.
I mean, I'm married, but you know, I have my independent personality. I like to do things myself. I don't ask. And that's probably a problem now. I'm like, let's just get this done. Let's get it done. But yeah.
I'm cracking up. Anybody else? Independent, or are you more guarded?
So that's a two-way question. Kind of both. I mean, you guard it because you need to know who you're working with, what type of people, why are they wanting to work with you, like the motives, I guess, of people too. But mostly kind of like independent for sure. You know, of course, it's like if people ask me stuff now, I'm like in a place now to where like I'm more apt to kind of help people more too. If I need something done independently, if I ask and I know somebody says, "Oh, we can't do it," or "No, I'm going to go and do it," you know, that's how, you know. Again, my parents were raised. Well, my dad, you know, he said the hard work. You know, I don't know, you know, about y'all, you know, how y'all households, but dad had us. He was so hard working. Like my parents now probably go to the gym at like 3 a.m. But I mean, I remember the time like we was in the house. My dad will be waking us up at 5 a.m. It's time to read the Bible and it's time to pray. Like I just want to close my eyes and go back to sleep because we got to go to school in about 2 hours, and I need my extra hour of sleep. Yeah. So in that aspect, definitely like just shows like the hard work. Starting your day early. Even on Saturdays, we didn't have the luxury of sleeping into 8, 9 o'clock.
No, we and
now me, we could have did this interview at like 7 a.m. because you know why I'm up at like 6. So like I don't sleep at all. Like I'm starting early and things like I'm starting early. So like, yeah, I'm definitely a hard worker if I need to get something done. And as I'm in the midst of doing something where if nobody is there to help me, I got to get it done because I can't hold back what I'm doing, so it's a two-way, but yeah.
And that's why I said I'm rebellious, because I don't clean on Saturday mornings. I'm asleep. Thank you very much. I'm not waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. I'm not doing that. I did that too long. I'm not doing that.
I walked 3 miles this morning before this interview.
If you called me, I would have been walking with you.
If you would have called me, I'd have been in bed. Hey, girl, I'm sleep tired. My dad called me talking about you ain't nothing. No, Dad. He like, it's 9 o'clock. I know. Thank you. And I'm gonna be asleep till 10. Thank you. Yeah, he does. They do wake up early. I'm like, no, I don't. And I naturally do get up early, but no, I'm not getting up out of my bed. I'm not. I'm said that's where I'd be a rebel at. I'm not doing that. No, thank you. I like my sleep and I like to rest, and I'm not going to be waking up at 8 o'clock to clean. Like I don't look. Who look forward to waking up on Saturday morning to clean up? Not me. That I had to let that go. So now I be just switching up my routine. So I was washing clothes like on the Wednesday. Like I be doing my chores during the week because you're not going to take my Saturday from me. And then also this lifestyle, you only get 2 days off. I'm not about to be spending my 2 days cooking and cleaning and slaving. I'm not. I'm rebellious. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. But get a cleaner, buy a cook. I'm not.
I feel you. I feel you.
My 2 days of freedom, what y'all fought for, to be cleaning all day. I'm not doing that. I'm not. Okay. Dr. Wing, you got something to say?
It's interesting because like everybody, I can be both. I'm independent with my life because, the military trains you to be that, in case something happens or your parents get deployed, TDY, stuff like that, you got to pick up the slack, especially I'm the oldest son. So when dad would get deployed, it's like, all right, you're not going to have your mama out here cutting grass. So you're going to do it. And so it's like, okay, great. So to this day, it's like my life is built on a schedule because I currently work for the federal government now. So it's like, all right, my Saturdays are my cleaning days, my chore days, because I don't have time to do it during the actual week. But I'm also guarded because we're raised to like, don't tell everybody all your business. Don't tell everybody everything. Keep stuff private because that's, and it's weird because the military, and it's I wouldn't say it's a toxic environment, but how people are out there vying for promotions and trying to knock other people down. So it's like, don't let everybody know everything you're doing every time. Have some secrets and have some things left in your rucksack and your camp bag that you can use later on. So it's an opportunity. It's like, I'm going to give you a little bit of me, but not all of me, because I don't want you to use all of me against me. But I would say that, growing up, you do learn to fend for yourself. You do learn to, if I don't know how to do this, I'm going to do the research to figure out how to do it. Or I'm going to use the good old fashioned YouTube to figure out, how do I do this? How do I fix this? I mean, there are plenty of things that's like have broken down in my house. And I'm like, I don't know how to fix this. Let me YouTube it. And I fixed it. Or someone calls and says, Austin, how does this happen? You become, when people see that independence, they tend to look at you more than is more reliable. It's like, okay, well, I can ask Austin for assistance, or I can ask this person for assistance because they know what to do. It's just the fact of like, you just learn to grow up. And I don't mind waking up early in the morning. I get up early all the time, and it annoys a lot of people because like, why are you up at 6 o'clock in the morning? I was military raised in college, then get my PhD program. You learn sleep is irrelevant. Sleep up, your body will tell you when you need to sleep. Until then, just keep moving. Just keep going.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that part. But
sleep when you're dead. No, I'm sleeping right now. Thank you.
Well, it's like this weekend. It's Derby weekend. You
Yeah,
gonna
it
sleep Derby weekend?
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Are you gonna go? Are you going to go out for Derby?
Am I going out for Derby this?
Uh-huh.
No.
Oh yeah. Well, the people who aren't, then they sleeping. But no, I just came last night. I just came from it. I was out all last night. If I would have had to do Derby, you couldn't sleep, but then you would sleep on that Sunday. Okay, that's when you would figure out when to sleep. So yeah, Derby is do y'all know what Derby is? I was like, they don't know. They're not in
Where
Kentucky.
y'all live? Or where do
I
you
live in Texas.
I live in
You're both
Texas.
okay, you're both in Texas. Okay.
Yeah, so Derby is just honestly it's a race. It's horse racing.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's every May the first weekend. It's called Derby. It's a 2-minute
Kentucky
race.
Derby, if you probably said Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, Kentucky Derby. It's a 2-minute race that happens on the first Saturday of May. But they have all these events leading up to it. So they have an Oaks Day, which is like for breast cancer, which was yesterday. They do these races is where all the girls are like racing. It's 2 to 3 year olds. They're like 2 to 3 year old thoroughbreds, Kentucky thoroughbreds, So yeah. I was like, everybody doesn't know it, but yeah, it's a big.
Well, it's literally a whole week before the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I last week I went to opening day is last Saturday, so I went to Sunday Fun Day, which was Sunday. Then Monday they do downs or whatever, like at the horse racing. On Tuesdays it's like all these horse races every day. It's a theme every single day. And so everybody's out for that. Honestly, some of the Real Housewives. That's why some of the Real Housewives of these shows are out here working with Amazon. I said so y'all support Jeff Bezos, but that's none of my business. But yeah, so they're out here. People, it's all the celebrities. Like Simone Biles was here last year. She did like Riders Up. Like it's a wealthy. They bet wealthy people betting on horses. That's really what the gist of it is.
Got it.
Well, no, I'm not wealthy, but I bet on a few horses and won a few times. So
okay. You are probably wealthy. I heard you talking about what you do, sir.
Well, I'll say this: it's an experience if you've never gone. Plan it. Now, I will give this advice: don't plan it last minute.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say the nature of it is wealthy people. It's wealthy people having an experience of betting on horses. That's what the nature of it was. Because I used to work at the museum actually. So the basis of it is it's called Derby. It's from Europe. Horse betting was very, very big, and then the nephew brought it here and called it Derby. So that's kind of what the whole thing. It's really a Europe thing. They brought it here to Louisville, and so everybody's here in town right now for it. That's really what's going on. So yeah, but I knew you all weren't going. I knew people didn't know about it. So people are there. The race is at the end of the day, but they have day parties. They're having parties all night. Everybody's outside for it. So that's really what it is.
It looks like a time.
Kentucky Derby. I put a little content out if you want to see what I was looking like.
For sure.
Oh, was that with the floral dress?
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's where I went to on Sunday Fun Day, and then yesterday I went to Oaks. Last year I went to Thurby. So yeah, I got a little content out on that. Yeah, that was where I wanted to pick y'all dress, and I just did that because I know that people would vote. So I was like, let's see what they guess. Yeah, so thanks for voting on the floral dress.
It was a good one.
Yeah, check it out if y'all want to come. I really would love to work and speak for Churchill Down. So if anybody's watching this, well, not work for Churchill Down, but I want to do a commentator because I would love to read for it. I did a little video when I was there. I always just like go around and do content there. So check it out. A lot of Black people are coming down too. So if you want to check it out, it's Thurby. Everybody and their mama was there for that. So you can see if you can, it's the same day every year. So if you want to plan it, check it out, look at it, let me know. And then, yeah, we can see where from there. So shout out to the Kentucky Derby. That's what's happening. Okay, sorry. We got off on a little tangent. But independent versus guarded. Everybody answered the question, correct?
I want to check.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like everybody else, it's definitely a little bit of both. I think because growing up, my parents were fairly young as I was coming up. And so we were left to our own devices, me and my brothers and sisters. We were left to our own devices for most of the time, which meant that we figured it out. And it's something that you tend to do as you continue to grow older. And then I think because I was also in the military and then also a military spouse eventually. Those things continue to force my independence. Where if it needed to get done, it just needs to get done. Like it's a running joke between me and my friends. They're like, "Listen, if you need to get something done, call Mel because she gonna get it done.
Yeah.
She gonna make sure it gets done, or she gonna know a way to help you figure it out." Like, because that's just what I do. You don't have a choice. Like if it needs to get done, you get it done. Being in the military, if it needs to get done, do it, document it, and get it done, right? But it needs to get done. As far as being guarded, this is also like something that I have based on the different eras of my life. I'd say as a kid, you're guarded because kids, right? You're learning how to deal with people and how you're going to be able to get involved in different groups. And then being in the military, you're guarded because, as Dr. Wingate said, people are vying for your spot, right? You can't give up too much. You can get close. Like some of my closest friends, of course, were from when I was in the military active duty, but you're still very guarded because you can't trust everybody. Not everybody's going to have your back, to include your supervisor, right? Some people will purposely try to tear you down because they just don't like who you are. Has nothing to do with your work ethic or anything. They just don't like who you are. So you have to be guarded. And then coming out as a military spouse, it's even worse because now you have uh, the other spouses who, when you got these men working in these male dominated fields and you got these wives coming around and they're like, who is you? And you know, your girl cute. So you get a little guarded because people want to attack you for different, and that's not the only reason why, but yeah, there's like different levels at different stages where you learn you have to keep your guard up. You have to protect yourself from other people and their bad intentions for or against you. But I think ultimately I appreciate the balance that I've created between the independence and the guardedness, because the independence means that stuff gets done. Like no matter what's happening in life, stuff is going to get done. But the guardedness gives me time to observe, right, and determine who should be a part of my circle. Who can I invite into my life? Who can I, divulge information to and trust, right? So these are things that you learn that have helped me to be my best self at this point.
Oh, were you in the Army too? And
I
your
was in the Air Force.
Oh, you was in the Air Force.
And
Okay.
then my spouse was also in the Air Force.
Okay. I love that. I was wondering about
we was living a good life. Look.
Yeah, okay, getting them good benefits, child. What they said that daycare, something like that, child. Period. That's why they be saying people in the military get married so quickly. But you were talking about the toxic environment, which is hard because I feel like within the military, it's like a family environment, quote unquote. Like it's like family driven, like we're all a family. But then as y'all are saying that like you have to be guarded because you don't know who wants your spot. I necessarily I don't have that perspective because I wasn't in the military. But I think about it as in like when you go to these bases, as in my experience, like my parents just celebrated their 30-year retirement or like my mom's birthday. So many people came from bases. Like so many people came, like their friends, like I feel like friends turn family because that's who we were around. So you see them people, you see it. And so it's just like I get the perspective of like, oh, I've spent Thanksgiving at some of my parents' friends' house. Like we talk some of them, they're on Facebook, like they're talking to me like I'm like one of their kids or whatever. So I think that is interesting as well. It's like some of your friends turn family, but then I don't know the ins and outs because I wasn't necessarily in the military. Of like they trying to like, snatch a spot and do all this and whatever. I don't really know. But I think it does kind of show you how to be independent because like you're saying, when your parents are like, well, I was raised like my dad was in the military, so it's like you see if he's gone, then you deal with your mom. It's like, okay, she got 3 kids, shall I? Okay, so I gotta do this on my own, or I gotta figure this out. I gotta do this, or I gotta do that. I need to do my own homework. Like I have to be like, take care of yourself, do this, do that, because like she's only one person. She can't take care of 3 kids by herself when they don't know what they're doing. But I think within the guarded phase, sometimes people maybe shy away from like becoming friends with people, or like kind of just like maybe become a loner. I think that it turned me very like I'm very observant about people and different things like that, but guarded when it comes to like friendships and relationships because it's like this person can leave, or you're so used to like people could leave, people you could move, you could. So it's like it's different. So I think I kind of think I did the question wrong. So I'm just trying to put some more perspective on it. I should have did independent versus something versus guarded versus something, but it's okay. So I'm just kind of explaining now. But being guarded are like holding relationships like so close, or not even that close, or knowing that like, well, child, I'll be gone in a year, child. I don't know you, like, baby. I'm guarding my heart and me because I don't know you. And it's I don't have to get to know you because I can move and I can find some more friends when I go somewhere else, or like I can stop talking to people or whatever. So I feel like sometimes it's really hard to balance to kind of know which one you want to be very guarded or less guarded in navigating that space. So
Yeah. So in response to that, then thank you for clarifying. I would say that I am the opposite of you. I'm all in because we only here for this amount of time. So I'm here for a good time. I know we ain't here for a long time. So I'm here for a good time. We bestie. I met you Tuesday. Oh, by Thursday, that's my best friend right now because this is who I know I'm gonna rock with until maybe a year from now. Because I moved a lot. And sometimes it wasn't moving out of state. Sometimes it was literally just moving to the other side of town, right? But when I tell you your girl moved a lot, I moved so much. So my first move was that I remember was when I was like in the third grade. And then it just got crazy from there. But yeah, from that first move, you realize like I really am not going to be here for a long time. But I'm not going to sulk. I'm not going to not enjoy myself. I'm not going to live my life, right? So we're going to live it up. You my bestie until next year, and then we'll figure it out from there.
I think on the opposite part of that though, because maybe you were on military bases, people were more easier and open. On my thing, if I'm like, oh, you about to be my best friend, they're like, what girl, are you crazy? Like, like those friendships don't gel as quickly. And so people are not as friendly. But if I'm on the base, yeah, I can be like, okay, we best friends, we hang out. I was hanging out with my best friend all the time, whatever. But like now you're in this space and people are like, what, you want to hang out, you want to do this? It's just like, and like kind of like craving that community. But these people on the, I would say on the civilian side, they don't know, or I don't want to say they don't value. Some people don't value friendships like that. They don't know the perspective that is coming. So it's like, I'm trying to be friends, I'm trying to do this. And it's like, okay, this person does me dirty. It's like, well, dang, I don't even want to make friends no more. Because then this person leaving, I'm trying to still have this connection over here with this friend, or so many different things happen. And it's just like, you look that crazy. And people don't even really value friendships nowadays. So nowadays, I'm really just like, okay, I feel like I'm too good of a friend to be, okay, maybe you want to be a friend, maybe you want to talk. People, it's just like, it's too much. Maybe you want to talk, maybe you don't want to talk. People don't know how to communicate or even kind of show up in the friend realm. I'm like, no, I'm guarded because I'm like, I know what type of friend I'm looking for. I know what type of friend I want to be. And I'm not really seeing that reciprocated. And so sometimes I feel like as a military child, I'm over like, I don't want to say over reciprocal, but like I'm like overdoing it, trying to be like a good friend and showing friend to be like, okay, I really want this friendship, but then I don't get it back. So then I'm just like, I'm guarded because I'm like, I'm not about to keep putting all this effort in to be your friend. And then you could care less about friendship or whatever, and then just maneuver how you do it. So that's
just a mindset. It just goes back to that mindset of how our experiences differ from their experiences. We're like, okay, we travel a lot, so we got to make friends quickly, and we know that like this won't last forever. You may be here a year or 2 years. Your parents may get orders, or my parents may get orders, and then you try to take that in the civilian realm, and it's like, no, my clique has been my clique since kindergarten. We grew up together. It's like it's like initiating into a gang. It's difficult. It's hard because it's like you got to go through this whole ritual process, and it's like by the time I get done with joining your ritual process, I'm gonna be moving somewhere else. So it's like it's too much. But when you're on like a military school, it's like, okay, you're not the only person that just moved in. It's like a whole bunch of other kids that just moved in. It's like, okay, where are you from? Where are you from? And then you find out like, wait, you were at the same base I was at, like. Or you get lucky and like one of your friends from one installation moved to the same installation you moved at too, and it's just like, hey, we're in this together. It's like you're gonna be my best friend, and we're gonna make new friends, and let's just go with this together. It's all just a mindset. But I think when people understand that, like at the end of the day, children, it's all about just understanding that everybody's a child and friendships are important. How you develop and grow is what you make of it. So yeah. if you're a civilian and you see a military child and they're trying to be your friend real quick, it's because they're in a new location and that's what they're used to. They see something in you that connects to them, and it's like, we need to connect, we need to grow. And then also don't shy away from that, because you never know, that person may be the next person that's going to help you get a job. It's going to help you connect to somebody. And it's just, and then same thing, vice versa. Just keep that open mindset when you're experiencing this.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Is like coming from the outside in, people don't look at it that way. So it's like I have to reel in and bring my perspective. Like, okay, like I've moved even out of Kentucky. Like I moved to Atlanta, now I moved back, and now I see it. So it's like I'm always in a spot where I can like make new friends, or I gotta meet new people and stuff like that. And I'm just like, it kind of gets exhausting, with trying to like find friends, meet friends, build community, because people aren't like, the people are adults or like that. So like it's not proximity. That's what I say. It's like it's not proximity no more. As when we were growing up, it's proximity. Now it's like it's more intentional. And now you got to kind of just like navigate that space in that community. But it's like I love traveling and meeting new people. Like that's what I love to do. I love being able to meet people from here, meet people from there. But then when you try to go be friendly, talk to people, they're just like, they could be like, oh, what do you want from me? It's like nothing. I'm just being friendly, being genuine and nice. But
Nice.
they could be darn on that. It's like, oh, who's this girl trying to talk to me and be, friendly and nice to me? But it's like that's where I came from. Like I talk to people, I meet people like that. That's genuinely who I am. So I think that that can also be like I don't want to say disservice, but that could be like a kind of con when you're thinking about that in that perspective. So yeah. So as we wrap it up, I want to know, what does or do y'all feel like the military gave you an advantage or a disadvantage in life?
Advantage for sure.
Okay.
Advantage for sure. I think you growing up, you're able to learn about so many different cultures. The diversity that you're exposed to is just, it can't be replicated realistically anywhere else for childhood.
Mm,
Uh, and as a child, to be able to be exposed to so many different things, so many different types of people, so many different cultures, uh, like it only helps you to have a more expansive mindset when dealing with the rest of the world. I feel like most military children who were military children for an extended period of time, because there's some who was like 2 years, right? 2 years isn't enough. I'm talking about, like, we talking lifelong, full childhood. Yeah, I was born in this. I graduated out of this, like. But no, if you spend at least 10 years as a military child, then you have the opportunity to really move around and be exposed to different spaces, places, and people. I think the benefits absolutely outweigh the negatives of like having to learn to let go of people,
mhm,
and not, being able to lock in on some certain connections. But the ability to be able to go into any space and find a way to connect with almost every person because of the upbringing, because of your background, because of your exposure, because of your ability to adapt, like top notch. Absolutely.
okay, I love that. And so, do you feel like it shaped your worldview? Like it
Oh,
gave
for sure.
you?
For sure. Like you said, there's people who have never left their city, state. Like, how can you, as somebody who's never left the space that you grew up in and you've never experienced anything outside of that, how can you tell me anything realistically about how the real world works? You can't, because you've never been exposed to it. I don't care how many books you read, I don't care how many TV shows you watch. If you've never had an opportunity to actually live in adverse situations or live outside of your specific realm of that, and your bubble is about this big, whereas my bubble, whole world in my hands, like there's really nothing that you can say to me that's going to make me be like, yeah, you get it, because you don't.
Yeah, 'cause you know. That's so funny. Anybody else? Do you feel like you had an advantage? Do you feel like it was a disadvantage being a military brat?
I think Melanie's put it beautifully. She put everything up in the ball.
Okay, period.
But I would say it's definitely an advantage. I still live 10 minutes away from Fort Hood, so I'm always entrapped in that. And
You be trying to sleep on
um,
base?
yeah, I'm not. I'm one of the. So I'm one of those. Like, there's like a run-on thing. Like, if you in Fort Hood, you kind of get stuck.
Uh-huh.
But it's definitely an advantage. And I worked with those who are in the military that are attending higher education. So I work in the
Oh, really?
in
Oh my
Central
gosh, I
Texas.
need to
Yes.
talk to you offline. Can I chat with you
Yes.
offline?
Yeah,
No,
so 50%, a little bit over 50% of our students are military affiliated. So, again, I definitely think it's an advantage. It's definitely a gateway to things from my father, who was in the military, transitioned to higher education. I've kind of followed suit. So, yeah, it's
I was
definitely.
in higher education too.
Oh, okay, girl. Yeah.
I need to talk to you offline. Yeah, girl.
Yes, yes.
Another girl who worked in military too. I said I need to be working on the base show. I need a little bit more money, child. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to email you after. Okay, we gotta chat
Yes,
it up.
yes, ma'am.
I
Yeah,
love
but yeah, that's that. But Melanie's put it beautifully. I won't take anything away from that.
it. Okay, you put it beautifully. If y'all don't have anything to say, within that, how it shaped you or whatever. My last true question is, what does stability look like for you today? Or do you even feel like you're stable? Like, because of all the movement and stuff like that. Like, what does that look like for you today? Okay, the people is
It's such a good question, and
It is.
I'm gonna just say one word because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
oh,
But I'll just say my family, my
mm,
stability, because they're always going to be there.
Yeah. About finding that right mix of family
it went out.
and work. Ooh,
Oh, sorry, it froze. I didn't hear. Sorry, it froze.
can you hear me now?
I can't. I heard Brittany saying stable, and then it
Oh,
froze, and then you started talking.
Oh, I
oh,
was saying family. Family is my stability.
Okay,
Family
and
and close friends.
then okay, Doctor. I'm sorry, Doctor Wingate. It kind of started in between when you were talking. So if you could start from the beginning.
oh, I know. It's like work and family, and
Okay.
having that understanding of you can't do too much work,
Mm-hmm.
you can't do too much family, and you can't do too much of your own time. You need to find that equal balance. Um, in stability is just like as long as I'm good and the people around me and my circle are good, then we're good. If you need something, you can call on me. If I need something, I need to know I can call on you. But it's like as long as my circle is good and my people are good, then I'm stable. I'm good.
Okay, I love that. Last but not least. Oh well, I think it's two more people. DK or Melanie.
What
what
was it? Well, oh, say
does
your question one
stability,
time.
what does stability look like for you today?
Hmm. Honestly, with my stability, whew, um, it's getting there. Like so many years, like I mean, it's getting there. I mean, y'all gave different responses of what different type of stability. I'm coming from a space of like earlier, Melanice, when you was talking about you felt like behind a little bit.
Mm,
Um and we kind of make our own life choices as far as stability, even though we were raised a type of way, but you get a dog, you try to do this, do that. And so um I feel like I'm in a space now where I'm just now like getting stable as far as with my what I want, like what I have in front of me. And I mean, it could be work, it could be financial.
mhm.
Um, with my family, I think it's always been like stable. But as far as speaking on myself, I think I'm kind of at a point, and I'm 37, but all these years behind, I kind of feel like I'm at a stable as far as job, um, financial, as far as like I did so much stuff with like debt, like I'm above water there. So like, just choices of what I wanted to do as far as when I bought this house, and got a house, you gotta have the furniture, you gotta have like all of the things. So I feel like my stability is there, and even my personal project, doing what I want to, not say I want to do, but what I want to do. As far as like doing the stability, I feel like kind of like I don't want to say in my household, I guess, like our dad allowed us to do things as far as like if he wanted to play the piano, if he wanted to do things like that. But I feel like some things was more of what they kind of wanted us to do. Like, you're going to go to church, you're going to go to school, of course, you're going to sing in the choir, you're going to do this, do that. If there was like a sport or something, yeah. But as far as like truly tapping in to what we wanted to do, I don't feel like it was there. Maybe just a small piece could have been there. But even like being stable and finding what I want to do or what I love and maybe had a passion for, I feel like I'm there. So that's my stability.
That's a cool way to look at stability. That's a different way. You trying to say that he trying to say that his parents didn't support his dreams and what he wanted to do.
No, I'm saying just in general, like,
I yeah, I think about that, and I'll let you talk to that. But speaking of that with kids, I think honestly, since I'm, this is my brother, he's older than me. I feel like when you grew up with people, your parents honestly only know what they can know, and I had to think about that too because now I see it. You're only exposed to what you expose. So, I played sports. Well, I told my dad I wanted to play piano, so he put me in piano lessons. I told him I want to play volleyball. So I feel like they really like poured into us and what we wanted to do and what we asked to do. But on the other side of that, I was like, dang, my mom's mom was a single mom. So my mom only knows to work and to do the stuff like that. But with me, I'm like, I feel like kind of I had a disadvantage because I have brothers, right? So what do you do when you have brothers? They're gonna play sports, so they put them in sports. But so with me, I feel like I had to play sports. But what if I wanted to like be a dancer? Like, what if I wanted to be like in ballet? What if I wanted to do cheerleading? Like, I don't really feel like my mom was exposed to that, or like I was able to be exposed to that because my mom only knew sports. She knew basketball. So sometimes I'm like, dang, what if I wanted to like dance, or what if I wanted to take ballet? Like now I'm about to take like a dance class or whatever. Like, what if I wanted to do something different? I feel like sometimes that's a hindrance because they only know what they can. They only know what they know, and from what I wouldn't say gender, but kind of like what gender their child is. Like, okay, and that's how you navigate that. So now I'm like doing stuff on my own, and I think within that independency, it's like I want to learn how to write. I took writing classes. I'm taking French classes right now. I want to speak French. I'm going to take French classes. Like I'm going to always like kind of like take classes to improve myself to figure out what I want to be. Basically, invest in myself. I feel like that is kind of what we were taught to invest in yourself, to strive for what you want to do, and then like that's how we're going to move the needle forward. All in all, so Melanie, you can answer.
Yeah, I'm a shout out Dwayne and be like, that's a real ass answer, and I appreciate you for saying all of that, because it's just that's real. I think what the stability looked like for me, I feel like it looks like being able to live life on my own terms, but also being able to provide a life and lifestyle that is very similar to the one that my parents provided for me. I want to be able to do that for my children, right? And so that's what stability. Because growing up with them, I had a very stable life. Like I was the kid where my mom was like, "Oh, you want to try this? Try it," because there were so many programs and stuff available, and most of the time I was on base, so I had the opportunity to take tap, jazz, and dance. Like, I had the opportunity to play flag football, play basketball, to be a cheerleader. That was a terrible decision, but still, like, I had the opportunity to try and do all of the things that I wanted to do because my parents had enough stability to have those opportunities. So again, for me now, it's having the space to be like, yes, I want to live life on my terms and be happy with that, but also provide a lifestyle for my children that I had growing up, which I feel like I was able to do and am still doing to this day. I have 3 kids. But because I was also in the military, they had that opportunity to sky's the limit. My daughter, she did ballet, right? Like stuff like that. And they were able to move around the country just like I did and be exposed to things. So that's what stability for me is.
I love that that you're able to do all the different things that your parents got to do for you. And I'm over here nervous. I'm like, baby, times have changed. Stuff is expensive, baby. I really don't know how my parents was paying for football, volleyball, tennis. That I don't know how they was doing that. I genuinely don't know how they were doing all that. Like all these sports. I was like, baby, what? What are we doing? Like, I was like, I don't know what my kid, baby. I'm having my kids in YouTube. I'm just waiting. But I was like, that's cool though. And I do think that. So I think my parents did invest in us. I said I wanted to go to Paris, France. I know a lick of French, baby. I knew bonjour. And I told my dad I wanted to go. And he was like, okay, so it was like a French club, and he let me go to France. Like, so I think that they want us to see the world, but then he mad because now he like, all y'all do is travel. Well, that's all you taught us how to do. Like, how are you mad that you taught us how to travel now? And that's what we do. Like, what? I don't understand. So, my opinion is probably kind of unpopular. I don't know if I really think stability is true. I don't know if I think stability is a I don't want to say not a word because it's a word, but like I don't really feel like you can ever really truly feel like you're stable. Maybe not for everybody, just for me. Like stability is a place. I don't know if I feel like stability is a place. That's what I guess I'm trying to say, because I think that when you think that you're stable, you're like, okay, I think. Oh, exactly. Snatching it right up from you. So it's like what is stability? You think you got a nice, okay, so like for instance, we're talking about it. We went to school, we graduated, we got a nice job, nice thing. You think you stable, you get this nice job, baby. You try to buy a house and you be like, how much is the house? I thought I was stable enough to afford a house, baby. You like, well, I guess I gotta get some more money. And then you be like, okay, and then you gotta get a loan for this house, and you be like, well, child, I'm not stable yet. I need to make this much amount of money to get this house. Then you get that much amount of money, and baby, the house keep going up. So it's just like I don't think stability. Like I was really like, I don't know if stability is a real feeling or a real dealing in this life. And then you could get that good job, right? Now people getting laid off left and right. You could get laid off. You could get fired from a job. Child, what is stability when they could just snatch it right up from under you? Like.
It's so funny that you
consider stability like ever evolving. Then, like, can you grow into your stability? Like, it's always going to move in like rivers. You just got to go with the current. You know, just keep going through it. Like, I think with me, like how Melanie explained, raising these kids. Look, I have one child, and I'm like, oh, that's enough for me. Between band camp, band practice, football games. Contests. I'm like, oh my gosh, and then working, and then at the time I was going to school, I was like, that is.
And then you gotta pay to get into the games, baby. I'll take you out the games,
right?
And I'm playing in the game, and I got to pay to go see.
And you know, the whole family wants to go to the game, and it's like, oh,
child.
So, but I think stability. I think you just go with the current. You never lose it, though. I mean, you can.
But that's why I guess that's why like to be stable, stability is to be stable. I don't feel like we are ever really truly stable. One, because we're always taught to want more. So like you said, you want to keep getting degrees, baby. Is the degree gonna have to be stable, child? Because I ain't getting no more. It's gonna be right there. It's gonna be stable. It's gonna have to be stable. So that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, now I have a starter home. Okay, when you have kids, now you got to buy a bigger house, 4 or 5 bedroom. I'm never becoming stable, and it could be because people always want more. You always got to get more money. You got to get the car. Okay, you got this car, baby. And guess what? My car gonna be with me today I die because I don't want a dang car payment, and I'm gonna be stable in that car because I don't want to have to keep buying another car. So I think maybe things can be stable, but for instance, I'm like, I want to be stable to say like, I want to be stable before I have kids, right? If I'm saying that I want to be stable before I have kids, I want to be able to have a nice, like savings account. I want to be able to buy a house. I want to be able to have my car, right? And then you get something, and then something happens and it snatches right back up. Like something that's not like, oh, you missed a payment. They're going to take that car. They're going to take that house.
Just had the kids. Just do it.
Just had the kids. But then
just have them.
Am I going to be able to afford the life that my parents gave to me? That's what I think. Am I going to be able to afford the life for my kids that my parents gave to me? And I don't want to be the story of me being a broke bum mama and then my kids like living with my parents. Oh, child, no. I mean, it's okay if your kids live with your parents, but like I came from this good household where we got to point each other. Like I don't want my kids to suffer and they don't have a good experience of having a childhood like mine.
Right.
So
well, that's valid.
It's valid, but also understand that it's different times. Right. Than when we were children, than children before us, our parents' time. Because you hear stories like, oh, $5 used to get me a tank of gas, and I used to be good for the whole weekend. It's like $5 worth of gas now will barely move the needle. And so I think it's like
needle.
exactly. So you have to look at the pros and cons. It's like, am I going to wait for what I think stability is to move forward, or do I just roll the dice and say, all right, I'm just going to go for it and make the stability happen? I'm going to make it happen versus waiting for it to arrive.
Well, this ain't y'all just roll the dice.
Ride the wave, like Brittany said. Just ride the wave. Yeah. If you don't like the dive, ride the wave.
You have to.
These kids is gonna grow up regardless.
I do hear that, but I also think that people like try to tell you to be. I think that it's like you're gonna be stable. Like I think the false narrative idea is like you're gonna be stable by 30. You're gonna have a job. You're gonna have a car. Not knowing when you get 30, you might want to do a career change. Like I'm trying to career change, and it's like, okay, can I take the risk of not having a job, or can I take the risk of taking lower pay? If I have kids, you have to work. You have to do that. So I think about that, or like, oh, if I want to move, like I'm thinking like if I want to move, I'm trying to be more strategic. I'm just not like, oh, let me move and just let me just like fly off the belt, fly off the seat of my pants or whatever. So I think about that when I think about stability, because I thought I was very stable, right? I thought I was stable. And it's like, boom, you could lose your job. Boom. Then you can't make your payment to your house. So it's like, what does stability look? And it could definitely look different. But I just feel like I have the unpopular opinion that I'm like, I don't know if we're ever stable because of how we are in society and what we do and how we navigate it as we live our life. So that's just my 2 cents about it. But DK, what were you about to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say that's very true with the house. Like I was like, man, I worked so hard, my money, income tax, I was paid my stuff off, and bam, now my insurance to my house done went up. So like the money I thought I was gonna be able to save back, now that is going to, my insurance. So
yeah, and then I was gonna say now we have student loans. Like my parents didn't have student loans when they went to school because the military paid for them. They went to no, my mom actually has student loans. My daddy paid it for her. That's a good man. But they didn't have to go. He didn't go to college, so he didn't have no student loans. Versus I'm coming out. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm coming out already in debt. So I got to pay all these student loans back, child, and they just gonna have to go with where they gotta go because I ain't got it. But then it's like they want you to be more in debt. Okay, you get the house. Okay, you got the student loans. You can't even afford to pay your student loans off. And so that's what I guess I'm saying. So trying to be stable, like, okay, when I pay my student loans off, and I hear y'all said just have the kids, child. Well, house, I don't know, but like I'm trying to pay a bill.
There's no pressure, but I just think
no, for real. No. Realistically, I'm team FTK, but
yeah. And my mindset is the children aren't going to look at you as home anyway. They're not going to see all the stuff that's going on in your mind. Mm-hmm. They're going to see you as your parent, as a parent. So when my parents were going through a lot, I didn't see that. Yeah. I didn't know what they were going through until I was much older. In your living room. Right. I was exposed to a lot of things. No, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying like the hardships and stuff and how hard it actually was. And my mama made sure I didn't see none of that. But so I'm saying, don't get discouraged.
But that I understand that, but that's where the sheltering part. Because I was like, when I grew up, I never had like my lights turned off. I never had like to worry about not having food on the table. Child, baby, I didn't have the lights. I might have the lights turned off. Baby, probably forgot to pay a dang bill. Child, the lights gonna be off. I'm like, huh? Child, light off. Gotta pay the gas. I'm like, child, gotta pay to cut the grass. Get this grass. No grass. I said I'm moving to Arizona. I don't want no grass. I don't want to see the grass. Okay. So I think about that, but kids don't know, and so then I don't know about bills. I didn't, and then hearing people's story talking about they mama put their credit card in their name or they had to help pay bills. I'm like, that is not my story. That is not my sentence, child. I don't know nothing about that. And so it's like trying to make sure that I guess it's a lot of pressure, but trying to make sure that my kids can have a better life than I can have, which is probably too much pressure to put on myself. I can definitely understand that. And it's like your home is who you are with. And I love that y'all said that because even Kev on stage said that he's a military kid too. It's like being a military kid, like your home is your family, your home is your people. And I can't think of like home being like maybe this big grandiose mansion house or this big thing. Is like your home is who you're going to have, your friends or your family, your kids and stuff like that. So I think that is really good as well too. So maybe I'll think about the stability thing too. But I was just like, baby, when I moved, I left Atlanta because it was too expensive. I was like, I thought I was going to be stable in Atlanta. I thought I'd be this, baby. I couldn't pay. I mean, I could pay myself. But I was like, I wasn't getting no raise. I wasn't finding a new job. I'm like, stability is a fluke. Stability is a fluke. Then come back here. I moved home with my parents. I don't care to live with my parents. So that I didn't really care. Like, I was fine. I don't have shame living with my parents, but it's like, dang, I'm trying to be stable. Like, I'm trying to have a nice car. I'm trying to buy a house. I'm trying, child, them prices for that house. I said, I will be getting an apartment. Thank you.
I
So
mean, no wrong with that.
yeah, they
Because
said
you have somewhere to live.
yeah, they said you got to pay. You
That's
got to
right.
pay this insurance. I will be getting an apartment. Thank you so much for your service. I will see you later. Like, the house is just going to be, but that's what we're taught: buy a house, get that. So that's what I think, like, in my mindset, that's what I'm thinking about. And so I'm like, yeah, I don't have a house yet. Does that mean? And also, I grew up in houses, right? So to me, I'm like, if I have kids, I need a house. I didn't grow up in apartments. So you think about that stuff, but now you see kids. I be seeing kids, and it's horrible. I be seeing kids in apartments. I'm like, where? How do y'all have apartments with these kids, child? But that wasn't my story. And so I'm like, well, dang, if I have kids, am I gonna be in an apartment? So I think about all those things, like those little things like that, when it comes to having kids. And so then I'm like, dang, am I really stable? So that's kind of like my perspective. But I am also younger, so I will say that I'm younger than everybody on the thing. So okay.
But I think it's interesting you think that, because you did not have, to Brittany's point, she didn't see her, and I think everyone's point here, we never saw like our parents really freak out about stuff like this because we were children. But now that we are older and we're experiencing these and we're seeing things, like, this was stuff mom and dad had to go through, and they didn't freak out about it, or at least if they did, we didn't see it. But my mom always tells me, is like, if I can do it, if me and your dad can do it, you can do it too, because look at what great opportunities you have available to you. Look at how much the world has advanced for you. And they're like, Austin, you're a doctor, you got opportunities. Baby, if me and your dad can do it, you can do it. So, and their whole thing, and like I tell anybody now, especially what I tell soldiers that I work with in the military, because what I do with the military is we help service members get jobs after they're out of the military. So
are y'all looking to hire anybody else? I'm just waiting.
I got you.
I need a job, baby.
So what we tell them is, it's like, don't worry about it. It'll all come through. Just focus. Just take it one day at a time. Just focus on today. Tomorrow, focus on tomorrow. It will come through as long as you work hard and work for it. And I think all of us, because we were raised in a military environment, we all have that strong work ethic. We've seen tremendous things happen, things that we didn't think were happening, been to places we didn't think we'd ever go to. So, I mean, the sky is the limit. And I hate saying that, because the sky is not the limit. Actually, there is no limit. There is no limit to what we can do. So do it. I mean, I'm sitting here contemplating myself right now. Okay, I want to get another house. I want to get a car. I want to get married. I want to do all this stuff. But it's like, I got to do it, and let's get this done. So I just tell everybody, just
live your best life.
Live your life. Yeah, that's exactly that. Live your life. Like, don't live life scared, right? Don't live life with limitations. And I feel like this mindset that you are talking about is like holding you back from really living a life that you desire and deserve. Right? Like, you want to have your kids, and you want all of these things. You can do it. You can do it. Because when have you failed? Like, be real. Let's be real. When have you actually failed and not seen it through? Like, look at where you at right now. Look at what's behind you. Like, look at where you at. You're not gonna fail because you haven't. It's nothing. And even in the spaces where it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, you learned. Everything is a life lesson, right? So you're going to adjust. You're going to keep learning. You're going to keep growing, but you're also going to be doing the things that make you happy. You're going to be living out your desires. But as long as you're saying, well, I need to do this, and I need to do that, and I need to do this before I can have all this, you are not living and truly living up to your full potential. And I might say, this is not me pushing you to have kids. This is me saying, like, do what you want to do, because that might be that the catalyst is going to push you to your next level of greatness. It's going to push you to beyond what you can actually see right now, because you're holding yourself back. Like, don't get that house. You know what I'm saying? Even if the house ain't the 4-bedroom house that you want, maybe it is just a little 2-bedroom. And I'm saying little just to be cute, but maybe it is just a 2-bedroom. Maybe it is just a starter home. But it's a starter home, and you only gonna have one kid first anyway.
get all have all these ideas to do like grandiose things, and then you gotta bring it back to reality. So that's hard. But the funny thing is though, I actually did fail a class in college one time, and I was like cleaning out my stuff, and I was like, "Oh, I failed this class." I said, "Oh, well, I got a degree now, so I can't worry about that class that I done failed in undergrad, baby. I got a master's, and I can't worry." People were
Exactly.
So when has anything ever stopped you but you?
yeah, that's true.
And this coming from like, think you went to Africa, you went to Ghana, you've been to Korea, you've been to Paris. There's some people that have never left, like we talked about earlier, never left the city they've been in.
Right.
But you have traveled the way, and not to just point this conversation just towards you, but we have traveled the world. We've done amazing things. So I think for military kids, the term of like you can't do doesn't really exist to us, because there's like we've seen and done so many things. It's like, okay, tell me I can't do it, watch me do it. Just to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And I want you to
laugh
see
at your
me
face
do
when
it.
I do it.
Y'all have dropped amazing gems. I love that so much. This is one of our listeners. Well, actually, I collab with her because she does TV show reviews. So we do reviews, TV shows together. So check out her channel if y'all watch her. But yes, y'all have dropped amazing gems. Yes, thank you. I know. Thank y'all so much, because I'm just like, I feel like worrying is like kind of like you're not supposed to worry, but worrying things like that, I don't know. Even if it's just like it's realistic, and so some things are like it's hard to not be realistic in certain situations and navigating that. But yeah, I do have to be like, oh, I did do all this. I did do this. I do, and trying to figure out like how to, I guess, continue to do it, figuring out different ways. So I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. Even honestly, like this Leishia's Lounge, like honestly, I was like, I want to do Leishia's Lounge. How the heck am I gonna do it? I don't even know. I honestly just started it this year, and I just like put this up there. Shout out to my dad because he put all this up there.
Wow.
And I just like, yeah, I just literally started Leishia's Lounge this year, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna figure it out. I literally turned a space in my living room into like a lounge area. I don't have enough space, but see, so I was like, I'm trying, because I was like, I really want a 2-bedroom so I could have a studio space. I didn't turn my living room area and my dining room area to my content studio. My dad's like, well, you can do whatever you want in the studio. It don't have to have a couch. That's how my dad is though. So like I literally reshaped my space in my living area so that I can kind of do these things or whatever. So
It's the same thing you're gonna do with your life.
you said what?
Yeah, it's the same thing you'll do with the rest of your life. It's a constant reshape. You're gonna reshape and adjust. So live your dreams.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to do it. I try to do it in small. I would say I try to do it in small areas, but maybe I should try to do it in bigger areas. But yeah, I'm like, I try to do it small ways, because it's like I do have dreams, I do want to chase, but so much stuff can get bogged down in different things when you want to do it. I feel like that's kind of the hard part about it, but it is kind of just like pushing through, trying to push through. So I feel like that's the space that I'm in, trying to push through to navigate it wherever we're at in our spaces. I feel like that's kind of where I'm at with it. But all in all, that was my unpopular opinion about stability. I'm like, we went all the way around, so I'm cracking up. But yes, that was good. Thank y'all so much for that. I'm gonna have to remember some of that and just put it in and like, okay, just take a step forward. Because all you can do is just take a step forward. So definitely going to take that into consideration and just kind of keep moving forward with that. So I thank y'all for that. That's so funny. So as we truly wrap up now, because I've had y'all on here a little too long, does anybody have anything that y'all feel like we missed about it? Like, do you have any last words about being a military child or anything like that that you feel like we didn't touch on? If you want to say?
Well, I was just only going to say, when you talk about the military brat term, we was talking about the one conversation earlier about being in different spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And has anybody ever, I mean, it could be friends, it could be family. I know one particular family member for sure, but has anybody thought like y'all were uppity, bougie,
I like to keep that
like
on.
the family, like besides like Brad, do they, you know, do y'all have
the way people thought we was rich and we was not? I don't know where people got this mindset
You have
that we had all this money coming in and that we were, no, child. I was at the thrift store right next to y'all. Like we was still, I was still wearing hand-me-downs. Like, no, we was not rich, but people absolutely have this idea to this day that the military people, oh, we got all this money because we got healthcare. You know, it's free healthcare. We got somewhere to live on base. Not realizing like now it's completely different. They've restructured everything. yeah, there are perks, but there are definitely some drawbacks to these perks that we were getting. So no, it ain't all roses. But yeah, people think you rich and uppity, and they're like, oh, you got money, you got it. I ain't got it. My parents ain't got it either. We ain't got it. I'm on scholarship like you.
I really try to get that off, but like having like family members that like kind of like jealous of you or like feel like you're better than them and stuff like that. I was gonna say that too. Like I feel like, oh, I missed out on the cousin experience too, because like all my cousins, they live in different places, and the cousin that you are around, it's a different experience. But it's like, dang, I wish I had that cousin experience, like you said, Brittany, earlier, that I didn't really get that, which is so sad. But I think I do have people who may comment are like, oh, maybe like, or like you talk proper, you talk. I'm like, I talk. This is how I talk. Like, it's just how I talk. It's nothing I could do about it. Or you think, yeah. So that's what I feel like I had experience in. But I can't worry about them because remember, we have different perspectives. Girl, you here, I'm over there. I'm just playing. Not like that, but like we in two different spots and places and perspectives of the world. So
yeah. It's interesting too that you brought that up about people saying that you speak properly, because I lived Florida, California, Colorado, Mississippi. Like this is just the jumps that I've had. And in each space, everybody has something to say about the way I speak. If I'm in California, oh, you sound real country. If I'm in the South, you talk like a white girl. If I'm in Colorado, like, where are you from? Like, who? It's like, it doesn't matter where you go. You're always going to sound like an outsider. And so I think that's where that chameleon thing comes in, where you, like, my mom could always tell who I was hanging out with, because I started to talk like the people I was around to make them more comfortable and open, and because it made life easier. So I think like that's that part is just crazy, where people are like, oh, you talk white or you talk properly. No, I speak English just like the rest of you. Like, I just use a different. My vocabulary set might be a little different from yours, but it's still the same.
Yeah,
we're still in the same realm here.
Are you from the north, or are you from the south, or are you from like, okay, I was raised here, or I was raised here, like I was born here, I lived here, and yeah, so I was like, I just kind of, this is how I talk, this is how I learned how to. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. That's all. I'm not country. I can't talk like I'm from the country. Were you about to say something, Dr. Wingate?
No, all I was going to say is like, look, we travel, we learn, we adapt. Is like, I'm going to pick up a little bit of this, I'm going to pick up a little bit of that, I'm going to pick up a little of this, but I'm ultimately going to make it work for me and my benefit, what I have to do. Because when I'm sitting in a job interview and I figure out, oh, you're from Mississippi. Oh, okay, well, let me talk to you about this. So you're from California. You find ways to build and blend that in. And that's what, to go back to the previous question about the advantage, that's why I think being a military child has been so much as an advantage, because yes, there are drawbacks we have to deal with and things we have to deal with, but the advantages that we get from that are so rewarding. And the cultures and the experiences and the jobs and the opportunities, it's like, you don't really get those a lot if you're not exposed to that type of scenario. So I kind of, when people think, oh, well, you speak like this, and I'm like, and I do. Thank you.
Period.
Not a problem. And we gonna make this business deal. We gonna keep moving. Like what is the way I talk on issue? Like you could understand every word I'm saying, right? Okay, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's like people want to try to figure out you so bad. And that's another part of the conversation too, is like the identity part of it, because we are from so many different places. We moved, like I lived in 6 different states before I was 18. So it's like, it's the identity part, but then everybody wants to call you out just because you from here, like, yes, I'm not, I guess, I'm not from here, I don't live here, but it's like, oh, you were born here, you were doing this. And I feel like with identity is also a big thing, because we have so many, that's what I was trying, we have so many different things about us that makes up our identity. It's not one thing. And I think when people aren't familiar with that, you are looked out as like an outsider because they don't know who you are. And so I think that that's kind of the a part of it too. So I'm just like, yeah, like, okay. And next, and I'm cracking up. In jobs, my last in like interview, they were talking about how they say that they're military kids, like on a job interviews. And I was like, I've never said that in job interviews. But to your point, it's like, I always be like, oh, how can I connect with people? Like I try to connect with people really quick. I try to talk to people, ask them really things to get to know them. But I was like, I never used like me being a military brat in my job interviews. And I said, oh, I'm about to start using that.
For sure.
I'm a military brat. Like they'd be like, oh, what's something that you couldn't tell from your resume? I'm a military brat.
Because that in itself opens up so many doors, because they hear that military mindset, think, okay, structure, organization, development, people we want in the company, and they're like, tell a little bit, expound about that. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, when can you start? Okay,
Yeah.
when can you start? Can you start today? It's like, sure, let's go.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be the make or break. So I tell people, I tell service members, when they're going through these interviews and stuff, don't hide from that. Don't shy away from that. That is an honor. As a badge of honor, it's a great thing. It's like, use that to your advantage. And because I guarantee you, if someone else had that opportunity, they would. And that may be the difference between you getting the job interview, or you getting the job, and somebody else getting the job. The fact that you have that military background, that military experience, is what's going to land you that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so crazy. I'm gonna start using that, because I would always talk about like, oh, I because I study abroad and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I know diverse people. Like, I'm diverse. I know diverse audience, but I needed to add, and I'm also a military child with that experience. I'm about to start talking about that in the interviews.
Well, that validates the diversity.
Yeah,
Right.
it's validated, but I never used like I never put military brat on it. Now I'm like, let me go back to my cover letters, child. But yes,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna have to do that. But yeah, thank y'all so much. I hope we answered your question, DK. Did you have something? Were you gonna? Okay, that's great. Um, I do thank y'all for spending y'all Saturday morning with me. I really appreciate that. This is the last interview of it, but we have 3 other interviews as well. I was like, I might bring this back every year. I don't know, depending on how people like it. But hopefully y'all enjoyed it. If y'all don't have any last things, I will close out. And just say thank y'all so much for sharing y'all stories, coming on here, being open and honest, and being a part of Leishia's Lounge. Okay. Thank y'all so much. If you're watching this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more content like this. If you enjoy these interviews, I will catch you all next time. Have a great day. Bye.